Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha's here. Butler's here. Fish still alive.
So let's do it.
Tom wanted to do a bit. He called it Weird Job Wednesday. Dan really likes it. Tom says that's bullshit. It's another Weird Job Wednesday. What are you doing? What is your job? Are you neat? Are you tidy? Or are you a fat slob? Do you make lots of money and you sit up in your tower looking down on all the people who are working by the hour? It's a Weird Job Wednesday. Just another Weird Job Wednesday. Oh yes, it's Weird Job Wednesday. Just another Weird Job Wednesday. Thank you, Tom. Thank you.
Weird Job Wednesday brought to you by Streamline Mortgage Solution. Go to streamlineflorida.com. You should refi while rates are low. If you haven't refied in a little bit, get that.
Just make a phone call, email, or hit a button. You can do that from our app. You just hit the Streamline button, and I did it twice. I think, since rates have gone crazy.
Yep, I just recently redid it, and they'll tell you over the phone. Anywhere in Florida, they could do it over the phone.
Yep.
You'll just have to sign something at the end. That's basically it.
It's easy. Brian Zeimel and his team are phenomenal, and like Tom says, anywhere you are, they can be there.
And then let us know if you do refi with them.
Oh, yeah, that's
and
the
we'll
important
send you
part.
a gift.
Yeah, we forget to say that. Anybody using our sponsors, let us know. Email us.
Yes.
show@tomandan.com. I want all the emails, hundreds, thousands even.
Yeah.
We like that kind of
stuff. We'll go
stuff.
broke sending you guys gifts.
Well, I mean,
that's our new
bad
business
business.
model.
I mean, look, we could just break even, and you guys keep using our sponsors. We keep giving you straw hats. I'm totally fine with that.
Yes.
Right into the grave.
So this gentleman, we already had a chance to interview at Gringo's before our event.
I know.
Oh, great.
Yeah, we sat there.
and well, basically,
You guys bothered him while he was trying to eat a double D?
It's the only time I've never had a beer in Gringos. That's a fun fact. Tom even was going to buy me a Miller Lite, and I'm like, no, got to be responsible.
And so it was fascinating, and this industry is fascinating, and this job is really interesting to me. And this gentleman is one of the nicest men we've ever worked with.
He put up with us. He stood on stage as the active shooter microphones were popping off crazy.
Yeah. Also helped us put all the cruise gift bags, like doing stuff he didn't need to do.
Here's a fact, Sam. He put more gift bags out than Butler did.
He is the hardest working man in this industry, I believe.
In boat business, yeah.
Yeah. We've got cruise director Mark Walker. How you doing, Mark?
I'm doing good. How you doing, guys? Hi, Sam.
Hi.
So, Mark,
I like how you pulled her into the conversation, Mark. You're not getting away from me, Sam.
First, thank you again for coming out and being a part of our event. It was awesome to have you, and we appreciate all the hard work you did in the helping us.
You did a lot of stuff you didn't have
Too
to
much.
do, and it was really nice having you there, and we appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yep.
Oh, my pleasure. Well, that's what a cruise director does. We do everything,
Yes, and I know we talked in Gringos when we were having lunch before the event about your particular job, but
Well, you and I were pulling the curtain back a little bit and finding out that the vast majority of your job is not the fun-loving announcements and holding the pugil stick and having the hairy chess contest, is it not?
Uh-huh. It's weird, yeah, because I've been to quite a few job interviews since I've been furloughed, which is 14 months now. And when I try to tell a prospective employer what I do, they go, "Oh, so you're on permanent vacation?" I go, "No, it's nothing like that." So, we touched briefly on it. I do have the best job in the world, but it is the weirdest job because nobody really knows what I do. And when I have to explain what I do to prospective employers the past few months, it's really hard to tell people exactly a typical day for me because every day is totally, totally different. So, of course, what I love doing is what we did last week on stage. That was just beautiful. It was pure magic, just getting up on that stage, seeing all those people out there, hearing that applause. And thank you for the invitation, by the way, again, for being on the show. It was awesome. It really meant a lot to me. So I got the ship, by the way. Look at this. This is the Harmony.
There she is.
That's
So I cover, yeah. So my job responsibility starts from the bridge all the way to the back of the ship, to the abyss, all the way down to the ice skating rink, to the theater, to the aqua show, everything. We've got the Royal Promenade down there. You've got the garden areas. So I cover pretty much every location on a daily basis with my massive team.
That's a lot of fat people in bright T-shirts wearing lanyards. Wow.
so.
Oh, Bing Bong, by the way.
Yeah,
Have
Bing
you
Bong.
worn
And a
your
big-
shirts yet?
Yep.
Oh yeah, we have actually.
Yeah, we got it. I got it.
We've got a Halloween dummy. This is a
Yeah, if you look
disrespectful,
over
but-
Tom's shoulder, you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
see
See,
him.
we're bing bonging, but I got to tell you,
we
I
put a
found
Bing
out
Bong shirt
something
on.
this morning that I wasn't going to say on the show, but I have to do it. I heard that Travis threw his Bing Bong shirt in the trash.
What? No.
Yep.
We will
And
fire
we're
him if he does
gonna
that.
fire him and punish him on this Friday show.
Yeah, it'll be your fault,
You'll
Mark,
see.
because he threw your.
You'll see.
No.
I'll get retribution.
So, Mark, before we talk about like what a cruise director actually does, I want to find out, how do you become a cruise director?
That's a great question.
Like, do you work your way up in the cruise ship industry to cruise director, or do you go from some other form of entertainment directing and go into the cruise industry? How does that work?
Yeah, for me, I've only been with one company. I started in 1996 as crew staff. I actually applied to be a DJ. And back then, there was no internet, so you couldn't apply online. It was I had to phone the agency in London. So back then you had to find an agent. They invite you up to London for an interview. They said, well, we don't need any DJs right now, but do you want to be crew staff? Because I was a DJ by trade and a juggler back home. So I did 2 duties back in England. I went to Spain. I did the car ferries, the DJ, then juggling for kids' daytime shows. So you need to have an entertainment background to get in from the bottom. And then with Royal, they promote from within. So you can't start as a cruise director. You come in at the bottom. I was 25 when I started. 2 years as crew staff. They're the ones that stand on the gangway, call bingo, all that fun stuff. And then after 2 years, I got the position of assistant cruise director out of Los Angeles. That was a lot of fun. And then I was assistant for 2 years, and I got bumped up to cruise director in 2000. So 21 years ago, I was promoted to cruise director.
Wow.
No qualifications needed. 0 qualifications.
That's
So it's
cool,
really
though.
embarrassing, yeah. When I look at my resume, I've got 0 qualifications. Nothing.
Well, hold on. Well, Mark,
You
you
obviously had to learn your way around cruise ship entertainment.
like,
Yeah.
and we joke around about like, you know, you how well known you are in the cruise industry, but it's true. Like, we got a lot of people that
Oh,
emailed
yeah.
us and said like, oh man, I know Mark Walker. I was on a cruise with him.
If
You got a huge following.
If you're a repeat offender or somebody that likes cruising, you know who he is. Yeah.
So let's talk about like when you cruise director is
Yeah.
head of entertainment. Is that are you overall management of all entertainment on a cruise ship?
Yeah, exactly. So it's another title is cruise entertainment director. We're a 3.5 strike position. So I'm half a strike below my boss, who's a hotel director. So as a division head, I'm in charge of all of entertainment. But what's unique to my position is that I also work very closely with every other division: food and beverage, housekeeping, marketing, and revenue. That's a big one for me. I have to, help with revenue. I have to communicate with the guests and the crew as to what's available. So I'm in charge of all the literature. Guest service is a big thing for me. So basically, I work very closely with every division to make sure that the ship ticks.
It kind of, you know what it sounds like to me, Tom, to put it in sports terms, and I know you like this, but when he was describing this at Gringos, he kind of sounds like a sweeper in soccer, where he's bouncing all around. Everybody else is like defense, offense, but then you got a guy that you can drop back if needed or go forward if needed. And it sounds like wherever they might need a little kick in the butt, you're there.
So also, Mark, this is a management position on paper. Let's say, so you are managing and how many people, by the way?
How big's your team?
Yeah.
On the Harmony, I've got it ranges between 245 and 255 on a daily basis.
That is a lot of people to manage, right?
Oh my God!
You guys have 2.
I
and you
can't even
do it.
manage 2.5 if we count little Tony, who's like our little grandson.
Well, it was just Tony and Butler. I don't know the manager Sam.
Yeah,
doing
you're
it.
right. You're like having LeBron on the team.
Yeah.
You know what to do. I don't talk to you. Poof the powder.
So, what's interesting to me about cruise director is you're a manager of people, but also you also expected
Yeah.
to be an entertainer
Yeah.
and play
He
this
performs.
and play this part, because when you're on a cruise, and we've all been on a cruise, or most of us, even listening to this, I would assume, the cruise director takes on a part of this character of entertainment, of
You're the life of the party.
Life of the party.
Yeah.
You are like
You're Mr.
promoting,
Bing Bong.
promoter and stuff. So that is two different jobs, and also takes two different personalities, right? So
they may not mix, right?
a good manager
That's not a good mix.
is not necessarily a good people person. Oh, I guess you have to be a good people person, but not a good entertainer or a personality, let's say.
Yeah.
And you have to be a good personality entertainer and put on this persona of like, I'm promoting the party, but also be, I imagine, a cutthroat manager to be successful, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm doing 5 things at the same time, all completely different. You know, I'm taking off an ice skating show. Suddenly, an ice skater breaks her ankle. I've got to deal with that. Plus, run to the Aqua Theater, get ready for that show, make sure the weather's okay, call with the bridge, call with my PMs and my technical PMs. Then I've got to chat with guests. I can't ignore the guests who are passing me by. And I'm flying down that hallway from the front of the ship to the back of the ship 10 times a night. To make sure I'm on time for the shows. And there's always something going on. There's always fires to put out, not literally. So I'm doing so many things at the same time without even thinking about it. And I think that's, it's different from ship to ship. It took me a while to get to the biggest ship in the world, which is a completely different ballgame to the smaller ships, because what I do on the Harmony, people only see about 20% of what I do. Even my crew don't see everything that I do, because I'm planning weeks and weeks ahead for charter cruises, such as the Tom and Dan cruise. I'm planning for that. I'm planning with revenue for 2022. Then I'm taking off a show. Then I've got staffing issues. I got to deal with that. I've got to interview crew members who want to be promoted.
And don't forget, you need to juggle next to the ice sculptures during midnight meat party or whatever they do with it, and then you're out there entertaining.
Well, I'll be honest. I have a secretary. She's called the cruise program administrator. She's the one that has to call me to remind me to be in certain places. Because on a sea day, it's literally 7 a.m. until 1 a.m. It's 18 hours nonstop running from one, ice carving, the buffet, social time. I mean, it's fun, but she's got to tell me where I've got to be. I feel like a movie star sometimes,
My God, this is like Tom and Sam, actually, right? It sounds an awful lot like when you were like, hey, you got to go to your doctor's appointment, you got blood work.
A couple things, Mark. You must be a master at being able to be nice to someone and make them feel important, like your guests, the people on the ship, your cruise guests, but also be on the move. For instance, like, I'm really horrible at
Tom's the worst at this.
if I
He's a linger. He likes to linger.
Yeah.
If we're at an event and I'm trying to get from one place to another because I got to be on stage.
Can't do it.
Everybody was like, like, will stop and talk to me or whatever. And then I'm really bad about saying, like, hold on, I have to go here. I'll be back or whatever, because I feel like they feel bad, or I'm like slighting them, and they came to the event. I appreciate it. So
and they had one chance to meet you and you let them down.
Or just like, but then if everybody wants to do that, you can't get your job done because you're trying to actually manage and make these performances go well and all these things. So are you a master at telling people, I'll be right back, or be nice to, like, decline?
Yeah, because so the first couple of days on a cruise ship, people don't really know much about me. They might recognize me if they sailed before. Usually about 5%, which is about 300 guests, will know me. So they'll chat to me from day one. But from like day 3 onwards, everybody recognizes me. So it's really hard for me to run from A to B to C without stopping for at least a few seconds. But that's where time management comes in. If I have to be at the Aqua show at 9 o'clock, I'll leave the office at 8:30, knowing it's going to take me 25 minutes to get there. However, the guests are so cool. They know if I'm in a hurry, because by that point, they know exactly where I have to be and what I'm doing, because I tell them my TV show. We do a daily TV show. So if I'm running, I just smile sweetly and say, hey, I'll be right back in 10 minutes, or I'll see you later. And everyone is always really cool about me having to run off.
Or you do you mean you're not joining me at the Aqua Theater? And then they follow you, right? Maybe they follow you through the hallways.
So
Yeah, they do. I have stalkers. It's awesome.
well,
Sam, you
I have
would
people
love
who drive by my house sometimes who
Oh my
look and
God.
take pictures of my house. It's weird.
dressed like a cruise ship. You know, like,
so Mark, when you're doing this, what is your work schedule? Like how many, like you obviously if a cruise is 7 days, like you talked about it, it's an insane schedule. You're working, 15
well, he said
hours.
C day. So let's start on a C day. You said 7 to 1 a.m. What time are you up?
So every morning, 7 a.m., because we have the hotel meeting. So I have to attend every hotel meeting, every safety meeting, every emergency meeting. Then I have my team meetings, which is filtered down to their staff. So every morning we have the guest services meeting about 8 o'clock. So I get up at 7. I walk the ship to make sure that my area is looking good when the first guest gets there, because usually the parties end at 3 a.m. and I'm in bed by then. So I just have to make sure the lounges are clean, the mics are put away, everything, is clean and dust free. Then I go to the meeting. That takes about an hour. We talk about the day's events and any issues that happened the day previous. Then I walk around the ship again, which I actually enjoy because it keeps me fit. I take the stairs, by the way. I never take the elevator. Stairs all the time.
Yeah, I've never seen a fat cruise director. I'm not saying that to
true.
be rude. I'm just saying I don't think I've ever seen a.
They run around all the
I
time.
Yeah,
said
yeah.
fat. I should say
No, and
more
I've
stout.
actually gained weight since I left the ship 14 months ago, and because I've got the COVID belly because there's no stairs.
Yeah. Now, well,
So
Mark,
I do.
COVID.
I have on the Harmony, because it's mostly managing rather than entertaining. On a ship of that size, the shows run themselves without a cruise director. I just like being out there more because that's me. But providing I get all the behind the scenes stuff done, then I can juggle everything. So the Harmony is basically a ship you have to manage. So I've got meetings all day long. There's always safety meetings every day, environmental meetings, charter cruise group meetings. We have about 100 groups on every week as well. And usually they want me to come in and chat to them on a sea day about what I do. So that's an hour of my day. Then I'll grab some lunch. Then I do the belly flop. I host a few events. I go for a run. I have to run every day. I do 5K around the outside deck just to stay sane. Then the evening is nonstop. We have another meeting at 5 usually, hotel guest meeting. And then 6 till 1, I'm out in guest areas. But you have to pace yourself. A lot of cruise directors burn out quickly.
Yeah, I'm burnt out just listening to this.
Yeah,
That's
I
a
wonder
hard
why.
day.
Yeah.
That's a hard day.
and you and basically,
It's a
Mark,
long day.
Mark-
and I'd skip the
Ooh.
5K, I feel
Yeah.
like.
you described a work day from 7 a.m. to 1 a.m. the next day. What was it?
With a 5K to keep him sane.
Yeah, and then so that leaves you 5 hours to sleep, shower, just sit for a second.
Personal time.
I mean,
Yeah, you know what I like doing on a cruise ship? Staring at the ocean
Yeah.
for a
Yeah.
long time.
so that leads me to believe like this job is insane when it comes to the amount of time and the all the stuff involved.
you got to be built for it.
So-
Like I think Andrea could do it.
So when you get back from a cruise, how long of a break before you start this up again?
Yeah, so our usual contracts, I don't know if this will stay the same, but usually we do 16 weeks on, 8 weeks off. And we're paid throughout the year, which is amazing. And we get full-time health coverage. So the company really, really looks after us very well. So 4 months on, 2 months off is the usual. Usually I'll do maybe a month or 2 more if they need me to stay on, because there's always something that happens. We had all these new ships coming out a couple of years ago, so they needed more cruise directors. So I'm always there to step in if they need me to extend. But you have to pace yourself. We have what we call international nap time. So usually 2 till 4 in the afternoon, nobody calls the cruise director because we have to sleep. We just have to. Otherwise, we're going to be done within a month.
You'll actually literally burn out. Have you heard of other cruise directors
Freaking out.
What's the quit ratio of like a
turnover rate.
Yeah, like the Navy
Actually,
SEALs.
you know
are-
what? There really isn't a big turnover because we're looked after so well there. But cruise directors are placed on certain ships depending on their skill set, and their age and the demographics of which they are strong at. I love Florida, so they keep me out of Florida. Plus the Harmonies in Florida. Well, it's actually in Europe now, so when it starts back up, I may be flying to Europe to do the Barcelona. We're not sure where it's going to be yet. So once you're on your ship, you're assigned to that ship for maybe 3 to 4 years. And and we're gauged on results, financial results. Everybody rates us. When you go to a hotel, you might get an email, please rate the service. I get all that personally. I'm the only position that gets rated personally. People can name me either good or bad. And sometimes you have to have a glass of wine when you're reading those comments.
Oh my God! What do they just stuff them in a big bag like Santa Claus and put it on your doorstep?
Mark,
read these.
What could they say negative about you? I can't imagine someone that would meet you, especially as a cruise director, and then complain about you in any way.
Well, I mean, it's rarely personal. But you just have to kind of let it go over your head. Some people do take it personally, but often people blame the cruise director because it rained every day.
Gotcha.
And my favorite one, and this one I don't get at all upset about because I'm sure it happens on other ships to other cruise directors. People have their favorites, and they were hoping another cruise director was going to be on, and they'll say, "Oh, I preferred Dennis as cruise director. Mark was okay, but Dennis was really good."
Yeah.
Rude.
Yeah, that is rude. My God.
So,
and that was Dennis is a good friend of mine. He lives in Orlando. He's waiting to go back as well. Dennis Charles.
Shout out to him.
All right.
Mark,
us Dennis has got to stick together.
how much
Yeah.
interaction do you have with the captain of the cruise ship? I've always
wondered that because every captain, I've met the captain of maybe 2 or 3 boats that we've been on, and none of them look like, number one, they don't look like they know where they are when I see them. And number 2, they don't look like they speak English at all, and they're just kind of like a smaller, stereotypical, like Italian man in a tiny suit and a hat. You shake them. It's very much like that. And I'm like, is this guy just a plant? Is this an actor? What is this? Yeah.
That's funny. We have a lot of Canadian and Norwegian captains. I think we got maybe 1 or 2 American captains. The captain on the Harmony, in fact, the captain on the Harmony just sent me a Facebook message this morning. He took a picture of my office door that says, "Cruise director, I'm in, please knock." And I put that there a year and a half ago. So I had to reply saying, "Yeah, I'm working remotely 4,000 miles away right now." So that's Captain Johnny, who is an amazing person. He's been with the company, I think, is it 40 years now? He celebrated 40 or 45 years last year.
Whoa.
And he's the most amazing captain there is. He's very personable. Everybody knows him. He has a Twitter fan base.
40.
He has a Harley Davidson on the ship, which he rides around for the guests and for the crew.
Okay, now hold on. You got to get us an interview with Harley Captain Johnny. This guy's parking his cruise ship.
What?
So he parks his cruise ship in the Caribbean and then gets off his Harley and he's in town?
Yeah. When we're done with this, check out my post today, and you can tag on Captain Johnny. You can see what he's done. He's an amazing person. Amazing.
And
that is, dude, that's you. That should be your goal. Your goal, and I'm your friend. And look, I want the goal for you to stay and work for this company. But I am not a selfish person. I want you to become a cruise ship captain and get a Harley on a boat and that's dream job material, dude.
Well, Mark, don't some of these cruise ship captains, they spend their whole lives working to get to that level, right? It's
they start at like 16 years of age as a deckhand, and then it takes them probably 20 years to get to become captain. If I tried now, I don't think I won't be alive.
That's so cool. It's like jujitsu, you never get to the end of it.
Yeah, I mean, there's an insane amount of training and in working your way up.
There's always something to learn, right?
So,
my God, that's neat.
Mark, as far as the crew quarters go, because we've always heard it's internal in the ship, and the crew quarters are smaller, and there's an internal city.
I think most
of
people
the crew.
We wanted to be horrible and sad and dark.
There's entertainment for the crew as well, right? Separate entertainment.
Yeah, we have an HR department. I don't deal with that, but I do help them. I go to their meetings to see what we can do for them. My entertainers donate their time to the crew, either our show band or Caribbean band, or the singers will do a private show in the theater. Because most of the crew don't get to see what me and my team get to see. We have all the guest privileges in my team because that's where we work. But for probably 80% of the rest of the crew, food and beverage, housekeeping, the deckhands, the bridge team, they're not allowed in guest areas as much because it's catering for 6,000 guests, so they have to stay in crew areas. So occasionally we'll put together a private crew show in the theater to give them all the shows that they don't usually get a chance to see. We have crew parties in the crew bar. On the Harmony, we don't have an outside deck. The smaller ships have a huge outside deck. For Harmony, it's like a pub, like a British pub we have. And that's where they do all the events. They do shore excursions. I organize through the shore excursion manager. They can get off in St. Thomas and do a tour. Sometimes we offer it free. Sometimes it's like cost price. But the crew get really, really looked after. We have our own restaurant. We call it the Crew Windjammer, where the food is pretty similar to what the guests eat. And the quarters are different depending on your rank. The higher your rank, the bigger the cabin. That's always been the standard, the tradition with the sea industry. My cabin's pretty nice. I have 2 portholes. 2.
Whoa. Does the captain get a big, luxurious captain suite, or is it more rudimentary and it looks more like, hey, I'm a captain, I'm doing business here?
The captain's cabin is amazing. It's like a condo.
Okay, that's nice.
He's up in the haven.
Yeah, he's got his motorcycle in there.
You know what they say? They say the bigger your cabin, the less time you spend in it, which is pretty true.
He's always up on the bridge or whatever, like never in his room.
I wouldn't be. I'd drive my Harley around the track while people are jogging.
Well,
the thing is, even though I'm on there for a few months and all the crew do between 4 and 6 months, I don't like to spend too much time in my cabin. I have my own office a few seconds away from my cabin. It's on the same deck, on deck 3. But I also have an office in my cabin for my late night reports. So before I go to bed at 1, I have to write out an hour's worth of entertainment reports for that day. But besides office work in my cabin, and if I'm not sleeping, I don't just sit around. I'm out there because I think it's important for the guests to see the cruise director, and it's important for my crew to see that I'm out there too. Because can you imagine, you're hosting karaoke and you never see your boss any night, so you don't know how you're doing. So my job is to nurture all of my crew and make sure I'm visible to them and around for them. So as much as I'm there for the guests, my internal guests, which are the crew, are just important to me. So I'm out there as much as I can for the crew as well as I am for the guests.
Yeah.
So, Mark, a couple urban legends that I want to clear up with you, because you probably know, and we were on a cruise ship one time where we actually turned around to aid in the recovery, or there's another vessel that
they made the announcement. They're like, maritime law insists that we, as an able vessel, go and check on this other vessel.
Yeah, and because the cruise ship was the closest, they turned around, but by the time we got there, a Coast Guard helicopter was already there.
It was a bloodbath.
No,
oh my God, the sea was red.
So the cruise ship didn't do anything except for watch the Coast Guard helicopter take off.
That was pretty cool that we got to see that.
So how does that work, Mark? And are you informed, hey, there's been a vessel that capsized, we have to alter course to go and check on it?
Oh, yeah, we've had plenty of those. Now, I'm not sure how spot on I'm going to be with what I'm telling you, but all I do know is that I believe it's maritime law to stop for any vessel that needs assistance. I think the captain and the bridge have to call the local Coast Guard and authorities. And until they're told they can leave by the authorities, they have to stay and help the stricken vessel.
Yep.
That's what I think is the correct thing. I don't want to say it is just in case I'm wrong.
I think you're right.
As far as I'm aware, that's what we have to do.
I think you're right, because I think they have to radio first, and then they have to try and get within a certain designated area.
Then I get the phone call. That's like an emergency phone call I get to head to the bridge right away. Because now I've got to communicate with the captain to the guest and the crew that we may need to clear the pool deck if a helicopter has to come, and offload people. So there's so many protocols that we have to follow for any scenario, whether it be stopping the ship, dropping the anchor, getting the lifeboats down. So I'm a lifeboat commander, so I have to get in a lifeboat if we have to rescue someone. I actually drive one, which is kind of crazy. And we have this safety manual. It's like this thick. It's about 1,000 pages. It's mostly online now, thank goodness. And whenever we're not sure of something, we just check out the manual and go, oh, that's what we have to do. Because there's so many rules and so many laws.
Mark, I know you're not an expert when it comes to the engineering of a cruise ship, but it seems to me the logical, like, because now like the lifeboats and the drills and stuff, with so much technology and the fact that we have so much good weather technology and GPS and everything's automated and it's like so safe, that the likelihood of, because I've never in my lifetime I've never seen a cruise ship actually be evacuated that I could think of, where people, like all the people in the cruise ship got
had to
onto
get in their
lifeboats.
boats, yeah.
You've seen break like small fires and cruise ships break down and things, but I've never seen anybody be evacuated. Is it known that that's basically never going to happen? It's just it has to be practiced and just for safety reasons.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we have firefighters on board. I'm a trained firefighter when I'm on the ship, and I have to redo it every year. So there's a certain amount of crew that are fully trained in these emergency situations. We have code words. So if something does happen, the ships are so well equipped these days with protective equipment to extinguish fires, what have you, that before it becomes even noticeable, it's been put out by the fogging system. The worst thing that can happen on a ship is when a kid poops in the pool. That's the worst thing that can happen.
That's what I've always heard.
Yeah,
that's
the worst for me too. Yeah.
Mark, are these cruise ships going to continue to get bigger and bigger, or is there a limit, like where
at some point they just become a bridge?
Well, the port can't handle a certain size, but it seems like every cruise manufacturer is just building a bigger and more impressive ship,
like SUVs.
Yeah, is it just going to continue to go that way, or is there a limit?
Are you asking me for top secret information?
No, yeah.
Well, I mean, like, I can't see them going to like smaller ships that go faster. Even though I'd be into that. Like, if you told me that I could get on a boat and get some of the cruising and some of the partying, right? But
now you're talking a yacht.
But then I want to get somewhere fast.
Yeah,
kind of like combine speed of travel with a boat drink. I'd be down for that.
Yeah, well, that's what Jerry Jones had.
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
Like a huge yacht.
But
you
we're
get
not,
everything.
We're not going that direction because that's how they keep the cost down. You need to fill that thing with 7,000 people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know for sure what's happening in the future and what other lines are doing. I think we're as big as we can get right now with the Harmony and the Symphony. We've got the Wonder coming out. The Wonder is almost being completed. She's sister ship to the Harmony. Then we go to Icon class, I believe. And I don't think it's bigger. I think it's just a little bit different. Don't quote me on that because I haven't seen anything. It's all pretty much been kept quiet. But sure, ships can get bigger, but then they've got to be cleared by the Coast Guard, because the bigger they get, of course, there's concerns over can you evacuate more than 6,000 people quickly if something happened, and I think that's always kind of the question. That's just my experience of wow, how big can you get? But there's no limit. You can build a ship twice the size if you wanted to. But would it be viable? Would people want to sail on it? I mean, it's exhausting being on the Harmony as it is the amount of miles you have to walk every day.
Massive.
Mark, has there ever been an act that you had to basically, not to like call anybody out, you don't have to say anybody's name, but like a comedian or someone on the ship that basically like it was so bad, or like the audience complained so much that you're like, I have to. You
mean like the
I gotta
magician
bench
on
you.
our last cruise?
I gotta bench you for the rest of the trip because we've had too many complaints.
A Trubinsky scenario where you get pulled from the game.
Or at this level, is everybody so pro and been vetted so much that you're never gonna get a real stinker?
Yeah, everyone is vetted. I mean, occasionally you might get an act that we're trying out, and my job is to watch the act and put a report in to suggest either not good for this demographic or, put it on a smaller ship for a younger crowd. But usually the agency, because all of our acts come from an agency, they usually are already pretty well-known acts on land. And it's very lucrative for them to get a job on ships. So we don't just pick anybody, but occasionally there might be one which we want to try out. That isn't too good. We had a magician 2 years ago, and he's a really good magician. He's been with us for a long time, and he got the all aboard time wrong. So he set up his show in San Juan, Puerto Rico. We were sailing from San Juan that day, and his show was that night. And it took him a whole day to set up all the illusions. It's like a huge setup. And we were sailing at 2:00 that day. And over the PA, I won't give his full name, so I don't want to embarrass him in case somebody knows him watching this. What's going on? Bing bong, report to the crew gangway. And I thought, when I heard his name, I thought, oh no, that's never good when you hear one of your crew members being called to the gangway, because it means they're not on the ship. So I didn't have his cell phone number because nobody really knew him. He'd only been on the ship a few days, and he was performing for one night only. All the other acts had left the ship that day. So he was the only act we had until the production show the next night. Turns out he was at the mall in San Juan, which is 25 miles away. He thought it was all aboard at 6:00.
Oh, man. So they got left?
Well, we had to set sail. So
God.
it was actually Captain Johnny, thank goodness.
Good thing
You know
I can
what
fly.
Captain-
He's magic.
Well, the captain wanted to leave because we had to get to St. Martin the next morning. So, I went to the bridge, and this is where my diplomacy comes
Please
in.
tell
I
me-
begged the captain to hold the ship. So the magician, his first name was Justin. That's all I'm going to tell you. His name was Justin. He managed to get back to the ship 45 minutes after sailing time, which cost us probably about $40,000 in extra fuel to get us to St. Martin on time the next morning.
Ooh.
So I had many apologies and much groveling to give to the chief engineer that day.
Yeah, you don't think
so
about
that's
like
something you have to handle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he has to go-
Captain Johnny's got to step on it.
you got to go 1 knot faster, and that's burning like
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah.
$100 an hour extra or whatever it is.
Oh man.
Yeah. We burn hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of fuel every week. It's ridiculous. I think that's our second highest cost, fuel.
Mark, how often do people like forget about the sail time? Because we've seen it in our own
It's my
cruise.
favorite thing to do, and I hate to be that guy. but
As we're sailing away, you see the people running down the dock with
saw a mom
call
and
them
a child
the
run.
and
It was a mom and a kid, and the mom was like, "No!"
Yeah.
not screaming as her family sailed away. It's like, awesome.
I know.
So
And it always ends up on YouTube. Always.
Yes. How often does that happen? And then how do they remedy that? Because we've seen where they take a boat and they'll do a transfer.
I've
but-
only seen that once.
Yeah. And that may have been for a crew member, maybe not a passenger. But what do they do when someone gets left?
Yeah, every situation is different. I've been through every scenario where we just have to leave them behind, but we do call-outs for them around the ship to make sure they didn't sneak on without giving us their ID. Sometimes it happens, or their C-Pass card is what it's called, didn't register. So we think they're off the ship when they're on the ship. But if we don't know where they are, it depends on our journey time for the next port. So if we're in no hurry, if we have a couple of sea days, we can probably hang on a while. But then the ports will charge us probably extra for docking fees. So there's always money involved with this. The captain always tells us, we have a script we have to follow from day one onwards about all aboard time. It's your responsibility to make your way back to the ship on time. If there's a time change, my job is to communicate that on the literature and on the announcements. There's always 1 or 2 people who claim we never told them. They didn't hear any announcements. They don't read literature, which happens. I guess if you're on vacation, you don't want to read stuff. You don't
Like
want to
my
listen to anything.
friends.
You just-
All of our
you just
listeners
want
are
to do
blacked
the
out,
thing.
so they're not hearing anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the ship will be there. It's fine. And then the ship's must be the freakiest thing watching your home sail away.
Oof.
I've never been in that position.
Worst
but
nightmare.
I can't imagine.
Yeah.
I think I'd be so defeated, I would just take my pants off and sit in the sand at Carlos and Charlie's and just get arrested.
Well, there's got to be.
Well, we have someone called the port agent in every port. So if we have missing guests or missing crew, the port agent will meet them and we give them their passport. And we pack what we can from their cabin under supervision so they have something to wear. Often they will fly to the next port we're going to be in at their own expense. But if it's at the end of the cruise, they'll just have to probably fly to our home port and meet us there. So it's never a good situation, but hopefully we can wait. But that's always the prayer that we can just hang on a few minutes for them. But the pier runners,
So, Mark, not that you're not this, but is there like the Michael Jordan of cruise directors that you and other cruise directors like this guy?
Oh, yeah.
He was the cruise director from 1997 to 2002, and he was
We loved
like,
him. They called him Billy Glick. or something, Frankie Whispers.
Yeah. And he was like the best
He was
cruise
the
director.
smoothest, always organized, never screwed up.
Yeah. Like, is there someone like that exists in your industry?
Yeah. There's a couple. I think every cruise line has their classic cruise director from the 1970s because that's when it all began. We had one called Ray, and he's in his 70s, I think now. He moved over to another cruise line, but he's still a guy that people talk about. Now, of course, I've been with the company so long, most of my crew weren't even born when I joined the company. So when I talk about the 1970s, they go, "Okay, Mark, we're going to go to a bar now. You're not welcome." Because when you talk about the old times, very few people know what I'm talking about unless you're the same age as me. But there's a few classics. But Ray's the big one. He always wore like a huge bow tie. He'd always drink champagne surrounded by women in the bar. He's one of these old school cruise directors. Magical guy. But back then, no internet. The job was so different back then. You could just probably drink all night.
Yeah, he's like Johnny Carson. He's he's a real entertainer. You know?
You were smoking.
Now there's checks and balances. This guy can do whatever he wants, and there was a sweet spot where you could almost take it a little nefarious, and that's all gone. Then the cell phone.
Yeah. So, Mark, I won't ask you how much you make because we do at the end of Weird Job Wednesday, we always ask all the contestants, like, what's your salary?
Yeah, but it's insulting.
But we don't mind insulting our BDMs that listen. We insult them all the time. But
people that can actually help us in the future and still have things to offer before we suck them dry, we don't ask them these questions.
But I will ask you, how much can a cruise director...
What about like entry level? I think that'd be interesting.
An entry-level cruise director make a year?
It depends. I'm not actually sure what the starting salary is now because I think it's changed over the years. But I think there's like a buffer depending on. We do have. I know I said earlier that you have to be promoted from within, but because of our extreme growth a few years ago, we had a few cruise directors coming from other cruise lines who've been cruise director for years.
Sure.
So I think it's negotiable. I'm really not sure because you're right. It's very taboo. Nobody really talks about their salary when they're on the ship.
We do.
I'm wondering if it's like a six-figure salary. Is it under that because of all the there's a time off and there's perks to it. Obviously, when you're on the ship, you're being fed and you have a place to stay. So there's like other benefits. I equate it to kind of like doing a tour where like you're out for 4 months but you're getting fed and you have a place so you're not spending that much and you're getting paid the whole time. So is there benefits involved too, right?
Absolutely. I mean, before I got married and had kids, you can save up and probably buy a house in a couple of years because you're never home. But once you have a family, I'm paying for 2 houses right now, because I'm divorced. You don't really see much of your salary. But especially the past year, I mean, my salary's taken like a 90% dip.
Sure.
So we are very well looked after. That's what I will tell you. We're very well looked after.
All right.
Healthcare, 100%. That's the best deal. It's the best perk. I think when it comes to healthcare, especially at my age, I had something done last week, and it was taken care of by the company. It was a big procedure. So
I tried to get a penis reduction from this company. Tom wouldn't do it. I'm sorry, I've been too straight for so long. I'm freaking out over here.
All right, Mark, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And for people that want to follow you on social media, I know your YouTube channel you're building up. Where can they follow you?
Oh, I have a Facebook page, so I'm really old-fashioned. I started TikTok 2 days ago. I've got 1 follower.
Yeah.
So
all right.
I'd like to get more followers on TikTok. So that is Bing Bong Mark, M-A-R-C, Bing Bong Mark, at Bing Bong Mark. That's my TikTok page. If I get at least 10 followers, that'll make my day. But my main page is Facebook. It's a fan page. They don't have to request me. They just hit like. It's Mark Walker Cruise Director, Mark with a C, Mark Walker Cruise Director. That's where I post daily. And if people want to get these shirts, because, I'm going to have to sell the children shortly if I don't make any more money. So
we got to buy these shirts.
Well, Mark, I'm following you right now. Bing Bong Mark, follow. My first follow on TikTok.
That's trouble, Mark.
No, wait.
Don't pull him into your
Are
algorithm.
you using our account, or do you have your own account?
My own.
Wait,
He started his own.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, is that how it's going to be now?
I know what to put now. I know what to put, Mark. I'll teach you about TikTok. I know all the stuff.
Yeah, he's a TikTok.
I know. Mark, I appreciate it, and we'll talk to you soon, okay?
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Sam. Bye.
See you, man.
Bye.
Be good. Bing bong. Bing bong to you, sir.
All right. Bye-bye.
I forget whether this is coming back or starting. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
So I'm just
We've
gonna
come
do it.
back.
I'm just doing it like this.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do it like this.
Welcome back.
Want a port?
Yep.
All right, let's do it.
I'm really hungry. I think I want me a big old steak. I'm really hungry. I want some chicken or maybe some chocolate cake. I need to walk to Publix and get myself a sandwich or an unfortunate meal. What food delight will I eat and make me happy and squeal?
We love porky, yeah!
Who's porking?
Oh my God, that was the worst.
Well, I had to turn off the sound effect.
That's not good for
What was
Porky's.
that? And I sang a cute little song.
That was a pretty good song.
I had
and then
I wrote just a cute little. It was just a cute little song about chocolate cake, and you
happening
you're
to me.
barfing.
I don't know
You
what
gotta
that
do
I know what
something
it
about
is.
this.
Yeah.
Dude, we got real talk. Me and you got a caffeine problem.
Maybe. Don't talk about it.
We got a caffeine problem.
Uh-huh.
My wife has sat me down yesterday.
I'm mixing
I drank
mine with
three.
water.
It doesn't matter. You're drinking 28 waters with caffeine in it. It's the same thing. You're
Yeah.
tricking yourself.
I know.
I drank 3 Rise Energy yesterday, and I had
That's
Wait
too
a minute.
much. That's too
and
much.
I had a small. I got off the Peloton. I rode for a full hour.
Oh man.
I did a full hour of thinking and
Yeah.
sweating, and I got off of that thing. I got the chills. I laid down. Thought I had corona. Well, I just did it overdone it. I just had a heart attack. I think I did have my first heart attack.
That's a lot of milligrams.
It's a lot of milligrams. And then I like to pair it with extreme exercise, extreme cardio.
Yeah. Well, that seems good. If working the caffeine
Working
out.
out of my heart. Right? It's in my heart. I got to get it out. So I run fast.
Mm-hmm.
And that thing is just, hey! It's faster than it's ever been.
the mini
But it's
gun.
tiny.
The mini. Yeah, just one continuous beat.
But I really, in all seriousness, I have to, I'm pulling back.
I gotta do it too.
I'm going to have to go like this.
It's
I'm going to have to
affecting
do
my voice.
one Diet Mountain Dew. That's all I can have. And I'm going to work that for a couple months. And then eventually I'm going to pull back out of, then I can pull out of the chemicals. Then I'm straight coffee. And then eventually I'll go like a tiny little Cuban coffee. And then
You
eventually.
can do like the Yopon Brothers tea.
and
There's
then I'm-
caffeine in there.
And then I'm like my wife. I'm like, she's just high on life.
She does no caffeine.
My wife wakes up. She's
No
like,
caffeine?
there's nothing I love better in the morning than some tepid water.
Oh my God. That
Ready to take on the day.
no.
Yeah.
You can't live
Hates
like
caffeine,
that.
hates alcohol,
I
hates
need. What am I gonna do
coffee.
with that chemicals? I need them
She
to
hates
live.
all the chemicals. Remember when she was going to take half of a weed gummy on our Colorado trip? Oh, yeah, I said it. Well, those days are gone.
Oh man,
Those days are
That's
gone.
the best.
It's not going to happen. She's not going to do it.
Porky's barbecue.
In a podcast.
Wait a second.
Yeah,
These
yeah.
are the new-
right there in a popka.
This
You
is
guys
the-
know.
You know.
We're doing
Porky's.
we do these new
Popka.
commercials where we'll start where I'll go like, Dan here to tell you about Streamline Mortgage Solutions. I can't believe it. My wife's divorcing me. Can you believe it? And then you're like, yeah, I knew she was going to do it, bro. And then I go, StreamlineFlorida.com. It's like a new form of commercial
Okay,
where
yeah.
it's you piggyback, you bookend
Yeah.
the brand, and then inside of it you put some real juicy gossip.
yeah. And nothing about the company.
Nothing.
I mean, what I got to describe what barbecue is? You
Yeah,
guys
you know what barbecue is.
Well, who's gonna be like? You didn't tell me what they offer.
I was driving to Porky's and you didn't say how mouth-watering it was, so I'm turning around.
It's there. Go there.
Go get it.
I got here and my mouth was watering, and you never said that was one of the things that would happen.
Yeah. Go there. Don't. How would I know? Like I don't know.
Porky's in a popcorn.
Oh.
Anyway.
So, TLC has a new reality TV show where they are documenting the lives of 5 sets of sisters from all over the world, and it's going to be called Extreme Sisters. Now, the weird thing about this one, it's basically like,
gotta be extreme.
I know.
I've seen this.
Um,
And one gets stuck under her bed.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I can't get out of this glass coffee table. And then the stepbrother's like,
this one's a little different.
By the way, I
Um,
could see you're not stuck. Like you're ruining it. Can the producers or the camera guy make it look like she's more stuck?
well, she'd have to be in some sort of writhing in pain.
Yeah. But
You're not stuck.
yeah, but you're just bent over
Yeah,
or
what
just
were you
underneath the bed.
getting? What's under there anyway? What are you trying to get?
I don't know.
Sorry.
Porky's in a popka.
One of the sets of sisters are a set of twins from Australia, the DeCinque sisters. They actually share
DeCinque.
one boyfriend whom they split between the two of them, a 40-year-old mechanic named Ben Byrne, and they've all been dating each other since 2012. They're identical twin sisters.
I'm an Australian mechanic with a massive Johnson.
So they're identical twin sisters, and they have been sharing the same boyfriend since 2012.
Weird. It seems like that could cause a lot of problems, right?
I would think so too.
Yeah. I mean, for him,
It says they dress the same, they finish and repeat each other's sentences, and they share the same boyfriend, and they plan on getting impregnated by him at the exact same time, while eventually hoping to get married as a throuple one day.
How do you do that? Because one of them's going to get the butt.
so
No, that's just science.
so the
So one of them, it's like an execution.
Why would
It's
you-
like
why
somebody's
would
got
you say
bullets
that?
in their gun, somebody doesn't.
two people,
But we both think we
No.
killed the. It's an execution, right? You both think it's 2 rifles, 1 bullet. I've seen that video.
So, okay, think about this. All right, hold on. Let me wrap my head around
You're
something.
crushing him, man.
It's a little odd, right?
So if you had a baby, identical twin sisters are genetically identical, right?
Right.
They like
Yeah.
biologically identical. Now their brains are different. Obviously, their personalities are different, but their bodies are genetically identical. They have a baby with the same guy.
and they could both have twins.
Though those babies are genetically
The same
brother and sister
for the most part. No.
And cousins.
and
right?
cousins.
Yes.
Legally cousins, genetically brother and sister.
Genetically brothers, legally babies.
Because
One
they
of the best
I mean,
sitcoms
it would
on
be
TV.
brother and sister and cousins
Have
at
this-
the same time.
but they have the same mom and dad, even though their mom's different
Different.
person, but biologically the same.
Right.
So they would
Or as close to biologically the same as you can
As you can
have without
possibly.
having a clone.
Right.
That's what I was
Right.
trying to think of. It's like there will be something, even though genetically you're
Well, they
a
could-
99.9% match, right? I would think that
they
there-
could look different, obviously,
Right.
because if you have, I mean, it would be the same if they had the baby with the same woman, just 2 different babies, although you can't have it at the same time. But these
Yeah.
babies, even if they were close, could be kind of like genetically twins. For
I
the
mean,
most
I
part,
guess
right?
if they're enjoying themselves, and it's cool. I mean, do your thing, right? I mean, whatever. It's not my thing. I'm not an Australian diesel mechanic. That
For the guy, I feel like he's kind of got the worst of this.
Yeah, I think this would be difficult. I think a lot of guys want to sit back and go, "Oh, 2 hot Australian girls." It's like I think this is really complicated and mixed up and weird,
Well-
and it would be very hard to live normally.
Well, if you wanted to be with 2 different women and having
do.
2 different wives,
I
and
do.
we know people that live in that kind of lifestyle.
We do.
To me, the advantage and what's good about it is they're 2 different people, right? Like you get a little bit of Like for instance,
it's like a buffet. You get the Italian with the sushi.
if
and
Chris-
chicken wings.
if Crystal was like, let's bring another woman in, and then you could live as like
Oh, wow.
2 wives.
Now we're talking.
The boyfriend is actually a twin as well. So these people are going to have twins, right?
Well, wait. Where's his other twin?
He's living his own life.
And that guy's like, I got nothing.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a part of it. And the guy's
Right.
like, come on, date the other lady I'm dating.
See, if I was gonna have another wife in the fold, I would want it to be different than Crystal. Like
Yeah, you're saying this guy screwed up.
like a
the fact
regular
that he could have
boring
2.
old whitey. I want a spicy Latina.
Oh, I'm with you.
Big butt.
Yeah,
That's what I like. And then so
Yes.
at least so I can
Thick,
get
thick girl.
You
Yeah,
know,
I want a thick girl.
because if I'm with 2 different women, I want the difference because the what's good is the difference.
Yeah.
If you're with 2 different women, they look exactly the same. It's like, well, might as well be with one.
Correct. It'd be like,
and they're both crone
And
at
this
me.
goes for everybody. It's like my wife has me, right? The next time she's gonna want a big, tall like these. You want the mountain from
Or-
Game of
Yeah,
Thrones.
something different.
Yeah, you want something different.
Yeah.
I'm with you
yeah.
because if you had
So-
2 that were even different, the third one you'd want to bring in something of variation, right?
Yeah.
This goes for any gender or sex partner.
it's this guy's screwed because now he doesn't have. I mean, he's with two women. They're both exactly the same. Who cares? And they're both going to be with different personalities. So you got to deal with that.
I think I'm glad you talked me into thinking this is not a big deal.
It also. Do you think? And I've seen this in
Nope.
movies.
No.
And it seems
No,
fake.
don't do it. Don't say it because it's not real.
That's what I think. It can't be because
No.
you're disgusted by your sibling.
It's in your brain. You can't change that.
No, that's why. That's why in the movies that I see, it's always two girls that look like each other, but they're not.
Except for
twins.
one. Except for one. There's one.
Is there one real one?
Ali Sin, world famous Florida porn star who retired. Ali Sin. I believe she has a half sister named Astrid.
That maybe it's because the half sister thing gets rid of some of the
yuck,
the genetic disgustingness you would find. I don't know. Anyway, so what about the other sisters?
What
there's-
other sisters?
Well,
from the show, you mean?
Yeah.
What about the show Sister Sister?
I haven't looked into the other sisters. The show starts this Sunday on TLC at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I might check it out. If anything, just for this story.
It would be an interesting watch. I like to watch unique people.
How does that work?
Here's the thing, though, Sam, and tell me if you're like this. I do enjoy watching unique people live unique lives, right? Mm-hmm. And I try to watch it for the most part. Of course, we all watch, and then I think we're humans. We all laugh or say, oh, I'm glad that's not me, blah, blah, blah. But when I think it's a put on and not real,
yeah.
then instantly I'm turned off because then I'm like, now you're a bad person.
It says
because
they all share the same bed. That can't be comfortable. 3 people in the bed.
I mean, big bed. You get a big bed.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I need a little bit. I got to get a new bed. My bed's too little.
They said it's not really weird to us. We like all the same things.
Do most thruples sleep in a 3-fur bed, or do
don't
most
know.
thruples live and give different nights, or do most thruples the stronger bond is who they lay with?
Probably depends relationship to relationship.
Yeah.
What's more
That's a good
common,
question.
though?
Yeah. I
What's protocol on that? You have to talk all that out. That's the weird part. This is why you could never do this, because you'd have to have all these conversations to see where and everybody's going to do it, and you hate these type of conversations.
Yeah, but they could have the conversations, and I'll just go along with the whatever.
Whatever they want, you
Okay,
agree with.
that's
Yeah.
true. I
I'll
didn't
go
think
along
about
with
that.
anything.
But what if they can't come to a conclusion and they want you to be the tiebreaker?
Yeah, you decide, and you're like, that's
That-
fun, and they're like,
Who do you
"Oh,
love
yeah."
more, Tom?
Yeah, well, that's the problem.
Uh-huh.
Like, now you're ruining it. That's what I'll scream. I'll be like, "This is all good."
High five.
Was
You
it
ruined
worth it?
I won't ruin nothing. I'll go along with whatever.
Sam, but I figured something out here. We got a new game plan.
Yeah, it says they all sleep together. They all are in the same bed when they have sex together, which is odd to me.
Wait, even
Well,
when
yeah,
you don't.
okay, so then it's back to the video I
well,
saw.
hold on. If the other person has corona or is a diarrhea, I mean, this is my bedroom too. You got to go sleep in the
Why do you
guest
go
room.
corona and diarrhea? That's a weird. I'm wondering, how do you get past the fact that you're watching your sister have sex?
Right.
That's
You
gross.
just pretend it's you.
That's why they're extreme sisters.
extreme.
Yeah, but
Yeah, they're like the Monster Energy drink of sisters.
yeah, but anybody who has a sibling knows how gross that is. Is it different with twins? I don't think it is.
seems like there's some boundary issues here. They also still live with their mother.
Get her
So
in
the
on
mom's in there too in the
it.
mix.
Yeah, what's she doing?
Even the
guys still in there pumping? I put some cookies by the door.
the guy lives there in the house.
Yeah,
with
he's a
everyone-
live-in boyfriend, and he
Okay.
lives there with
Well,
the
hold
twins
on.
and their mother.
Pause. Then what we've stumbled on as you've unfolded this onion, these are just trash people, right?
Yeah,
They seem like Australian trash people.
Yeah. It's Australian trash.
Yeah. And somebody said something that I've never thought of before, but I think it might be accurate. Somebody in the chat room, it might have been Brock, said that Australia is the world's Florida.
That is true.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I think I agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, just based on it just being said and it landing in my brain, I'm like, okay.
Or we are the world's Australia.
Yeah,
You
okay,
can,
yeah.
You can look at it differently.
Yeah, you can look at it differently. Yeah, okay.
Which I agree with both parts of it.
When asked how does one guy keep up with 2 girls in the bedroom, he
Don't
says,
give a stereotypical. It's hard to do. Yeah.
put it this way, we're very active girls, and he needs twice the energy. So they're saying
No, I
he's
hate
got to get
that.
at it.
They're lying. They're like, our sex, we're just an insatiable thirst of sex.
He says it's his first time with 2 girlfriends, and to be honest, it's very difficult because it has to be 100% even. That's impossible, right?
Yeah, no relationship is 100% even. At least my therapist said that.
It was also weird that they're in there together. That's all. That's the odd part.
You
of
don't
it.
need to do that. You're
No.
almost torturing yourself.
But, well, if they obviously don't mind, and this is true, this could be BS, and they're just trash people saying this.
Well, then
stuff.
it would be the Jerry Springer scenario, which
Yes.
means these are trash people.
And they want
two of them are
publicity.
dating. The second one, not really dating. They get together. They write a story. They
Yes,
put it on this
yeah.
dumb show, and then
Yes.
we figured it all out.
Yeah. I mean, the legitimacy of this could be in question.
It
for
could just
sure,
be
yeah.
for attention, but they've been together since like 2014, right? Oh no, 2012. Sorry, 2012.
And
That's a
and
long
nowadays
time.
you can go back on their social media and probably see that. Like
yeah,
if they're
I mean, there's
Yeah.
interviews with them from 2014. A lot of this now I'm pulling from those.
Or is it
because-
like the couple that's into horse sex too? Like, there's a lot of these people that just, like when the internet started popping off, they're like, I know what'll make us famous. We'll just say we like having sex with horses, and they're like, and I'm okay with it because I have no morals and I'm weird. Like
that's
there
on
are-
there. That's on there though.
there are
Yeah,
people
yeah,
like
yeah,
that,
yeah.
and they're
Oh, yeah.
okay with like dedicating their life, but it's not real. Is my point. They're just okay with saying it because in their
To get some
mind,
attention
Yeah.
or
it
whatever.
doesn't
yeah.
matter.
I don't know. I guess we'll have to watch and find out if we think it's authentic.
Okay, I think I might watch this one with you.
I might
But
check it out.
These type
I don't
of
know if I'll stick with it. It might be too much for me. It might be too extreme for me.
Extreme.
It seems like this is like circa 2007, like these kind of reality shows where
Yeah.
it's like a
TLC's full of these shows, though.
It does
Yeah.
seem like it's missing the mark.
like 90
by some
Day
years.
Fiance and all those,
are they
which
still
can be entertaining.
yeah I guess they're still
they're
yeah
entertaining.
people are still watching them
Oh,
right.
yeah.
I mean, that's a decent show. I'm not going to say it's the best show on TV, but
Right.
there's a reason all of us have at least watched one or two
Right.
episodes. I mean, it's a car crash, right? You're watching
You're like, yeah, it's kind of cringe watch.
yeah.
and that's what this is. Exactly
Yeah.
what this is.
It would be more interesting if it didn't have to be so reality show and it's so scripted and every different episode has like, oh, we're throwing one of the twins is having a birthday, but she wants her cake a little bit different than the other cake. So old Ben was
He's
like
driving
Mike,
around a
Mike
500
Burns-
Winn-Dixie.
it's always there's like they always have to force some sort of stupid plot to the episodes following, and then everybody's like they're kind of themselves but acting you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like
what I'm gonna do since she doesn't want her cake that way. I guess I gotta go get another one.
and it's all just edited together
Yeah.
to
It
kind of
says
show what they
they
want.
eat the same food, they go to the bathroom together, and they shower together.
They go to the bathroom together. This is
Yeah,
a
yeah,
lie.
yeah,
This
yeah.
is all fake. Oh, God, I got my hopes up.
What do you mean they go to the bathroom together? What does that mean? And then there's no
Well, you
reason-
and I did that when we first started the podcast. You would sit down, and then I would
Sit
sit
on top of my-
reverse style, and we put our bellies together,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
I would hug you and squeeze you. That's how we'd go number one.
yeah, you thought number two, but no, number one.
That's disgusting.
Number
Just
one.
number one.
I'm looking at the rest of these cast members, and it's all kind of along the same lines. Like, there's no boundaries. They sleep in the same bed. They share a toothbrush. Like,
you don't have
So
to
you're
do
just
that.
trying to gross people out. It's like Fear
No,
Factor
they're
with
just,
Yeah.
they're
relationships.
just saying, yeah. Those are stupid TV
This
shows.
is where we're at, man. Here we are.
Like a Mountain Dew in the water
Well, it
fountain.
was either this or watching teen girls dance on TikTok with their hand dances. We can't even use our legs anymore. It's just hand dances. Whatever will fit in the screen. Don't put your feet in there. You're too big.
All right, Porky's a Popka. Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha's here. Butler's here, and it's like the time that we do the thing.
Yep, let's do it.
All right, I'm going to the thing now, and here.
Nerds. Nerds. Nerds.
Jock, nerd, jock, nerd.
It's Nerd Jock with EJ. How you doing, EJ?
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me on the show. I really appreciate the outlet you guys give me.
Now, EJ, I know we talked to you after the Land Cruise, but we didn't mention, and I never asked you about the UM polo that you seemingly wear to all of our events.
Yeah.
Is that your original UM polo that you got when you were
No.
a player? No?
I think I got that in like 2007. So it is an older polo because it's still Nike. And,
We call those oldos.
Because Nike's no longer the outfitter for Miami. It's Adidas now.
Well, now,
Anita's a new polo.
yeah, because now I'm even more confused because I thought the reason why you were wearing a extra medium polo is
We're gonna
because
fight
That
later.
wasn't even a shirt. That was a casing at that point.
yeah, because I thought it was like, hey, this was my original
Right.
UM
Yeah.
polo when I was a player. That's why it's so small, because
I
I'm older
didn't have my
now.
glasses from a very far distance. I thought you were an attractive woman with painted birthday breasts.
But since it's some,
I thought Super Dave had led his gaggle of ladies down the wrong pathway.
it
Let's
does.
go fund him a new shirt.
Yeah, it doesn't make
Let's
any
go
sense.
find him one.
So why are you wearing a polo that you bought after you were a player, and now it's just way too tight for
14
you?
years old,
yeah,
man.
yeah. Why?
I like that shirt. It still has Nike, which I still prefer
Yeah,
over
well,
Adidas.
I like the
and-
underwear I have that the ass is blown out of it, but I don't wear it.
Yeah.
So all I got to do is lose weight and it'll be okay. Shirt is what you're saying.
Well, that goes back to the, what is it, 10 push-ups a day challenge or some crap you were going to
No,
do
the
before
One Punch Man
COVID?
challenge,
You were
which I
supposed
need
to
get back
come.
into that.
You were supposed to come out of COVID looking like Jason Momoa.
I'm just wondering why you don't buy a new, properly fitting polo
Well,
shirt.
I mean, it fits.
It gets on there.
Write that down.
Yeah.
Write that down. It gets on there. It's on there. How do you get it off of there?
I don't know how you get it off.
It's like, what is that guy? Is that guy a scuba diver for
Why don't you go Aquaman then? Because that was orange and green.
Why
too.
don't you?
No, I just mean it looks like a wetsuit.
Do your children have to pull that off of you when you get home?
No, my wife peels it off. and
Okay,
we
that's
have
what I
sex
thought.
Later.
That's
All
oh
right.
yeah, leave it on.
I could see.
Keep your casing on.
I could somehow see that your hairy stomach through your shirt.
I can see you having a heart attack. It's so tight.
Oh, nice.
What do we got first, DJ?
You know what? I have one thing that I'm not sure if it's nerd or jock, but it's kind of a combination of both. Have you guys heard about the Josh fight that was in Nebraska?
I did.
The Josh fight?
Yes.
No.
Do you
Who
know
is
the
the
history
greatest
of it or anything
Josh?
like that? Okay, so this guy named Josh Swain, he would go on Facebook and he would find other people that had the same name as him, and he'd propose a duel to keep the name of Josh Swain, and it became bigger and bigger and bigger, and then became every Josh that was in the area would fight, and whoever got to be the last Josh would get to keep the name, and everyone else would have to change their name from Josh.
Now,
I mean, it's funny. Butler's hysterically laughing. Butler's
Well, there's
never,
a video of
this
it.
is
I
stupid.
saw
Butler's
Samantha.
never wanted to be a Josh Moore in his life.
well, so how would they fight? Like MMA fight, boxing? What are we talking?
Pool noodles.
Pool noodles and rock paper scissors was the beginning of it, and then they became a bunch of pool noodles, and then like a 5-year-old won the Josh fight at the end.
Okay, well, how would you determine who was the winner from a pool noodle fight?
I don't know how they did it. I wasn't even there.
I don't
just
think
saw,
this
like,
is.
the-
I don't think this
the
is
vi-
real
the-
news.
Okay, Samantha, I sent Samantha a video of it
No,
if
I
you want
got
to
it.
see what it looks
Yeah.
like.
All right, hold on. We're gonna.
So when you fight with pool noodles, you're just whacking each other until someone gives
pull
up.
that, pull that.
Well, how does that work?
It looks like the festivities started with a grueling and righteous battle of rock, paper, scissors between Josh Swain from Arizona and Josh Swain from Omaha, Nebraska.
Okay, here
So
we
I guess
go.
there's multiple different ways that they battle.
Oh God!
Like,
They're
there's
showing
the Facebook group right
infographic. But I hate all this.
It's a good turnout.
Yeah.
Orlando City better have a Josh fight. Josh fight. There you go. All right.
Yeah.
This is a bunch of nerds.
Okay, yeah.
Look at these
This
nerds
is
go.
a-
Oh, they're having the time of their life.
I love it.
This is not a good look for anybody that's named Josh because
No, it's not.
My
apparently
favorite part is someone yells, "Get him, Josh!"
It also was a charity event, too, by the way, guys.
That's cool. I can get down.
They
with
donated more than 200 pounds of food to the local food bank and raised thousands of dollars for a children's
that. I
hospital.
mean, looking
in
at that
Omaha.
crowd, they did not donate 200 pounds of food. That did not happen.
also that's not
Fake
that
news.
that's not that much actually.
isn't.
Like, you
That
know what?
isn't. Most of those Joshes eat 200 pounds of food after a Josh fight.
That's like a Santa Claus sack of beans, okay? Like canned beans. Not that much. Like,
Us 10,000 Joshes, we donated one Santa Claus-sized sack of beans.
like I'm not joking. If I just cleaned out my pantry, it would be 200 pounds of food. If, like, you know, if I donated all the cans in my pantry, right? It would be close. Like 200 pounds is not that much.
No.
So anyway,
They could have done better.
this is stupid. I hate every second of it. Also,
I knew you'd hate it.
also, what do they just do? They whack each other with the pool noodles until what? Until everybody
Until
one
they're
person.
tired, until they're like, let's eat some of that food we donated. Yeah, eat it all. Eat it all.
So, yeah, what? How do you even determine a winner? Like, it's stupid.
I think the organizer did it. Actually, a 4-year-old little boy won. You know, it's just it's a wholesome event.
Oh God.
We're not really beating each other to death
Look
with a
how
pool
bad he
noodle.
Oh, it seems
Look
like.
how mad Tom is. I love it.
Also, when is this? Like,
It happened this past weekend.
Yeah.
that looks like a COVID super spreader, right?
Yeah, it probably was.
No one's giving them
That's
crap
the
for
one thing I
that,
first
right?
thought of.
Hold on.
I mean, that's an entire everybody's. No one's wearing a mask right now. I don't care.
There's one mask.
I don't care. By the way, I can care less. I'm just saying it's interesting that
most of the guys aren't even fighting. It's just most of the guys are standing in the outside. I'll just stand in the Josh crowd.
yeah. It's
If you
fine.
fast forward to the end, you can see the kid that won, and they give him like an oversized Burger King
Yeah, they give him a Burger King crown.
crown.
You'll never remember this.
I hope this like gets pulled up as an archive for the future. Like, remember back in 2021, there was a Josh fight, and they get the history wrong completely. Like, all these Joshes died.
By the way, who's the loser that shows up to this event?
I think everyone there is a loser.
Well, not named Josh, because if you're not Josh, then you're just a spectator. And
Well, it's a charity event.
There was a guy there that has a sign that says "Not Josh" on his shirt.
Yes.
I hate him the most.
Because he's got the good joke. Yeah.
yeah. Well, not only that, it's just about all. He's probably not Josh, and he just went there to check it out.
You know, there's gonna be that one guy. There's like, "Are you a Josh?" He's like, "No, I'm just a Rick-tator." You know, like he'll make some other joke about his name.
I like
Maybe not Rick-tator.
I like the idea of him like boxing or actually fighting till someone gives up, like to keep your actual full name.
Like Bob Sapp would fight, and he would be the toughest Bob.
Bob Sapp is probably the toughest Bob Sapp in the world.
Right.
Like,
Full name. Right.
Yeah, Seth Petrozelli is probably the toughest Seth Petrozelli in the world, right? Just based on statistics and like human beings and that level of training.
The more common your name, the harder it is for you to rise to the top.
You know, I wonder
Like if you're David Smith, very hard to be the best David Smith.
and based on one time you saw a whole Facebook group of
I'm in it. I'm still in it.
of Dan Dennis
And they're all African.
Yeah. So based on just that, you were the weakest.
Oh,
Dan Dennis.
well, there are all some like more Somali style. Daniel Dennis.
Okay. Then
And
you
I
can-
think I got a shot.
Yeah.
If I'm just,
malnutrition, distended belly.
Yeah, I think I got a shot. I'm stout. I'm stout and I'm
Yeah,
well
yeah.
fed. You know,
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like them. You know,
Yeah.
I catch them
Look
sleeping.
at me, look at me. I am the Daniel now.
Catch them sleeping. No one's ever done that impression, EJ.
I know.
What is thanks a lot, 2013.
Great. Look, everybody, Michael Scott's here.
So,
They called it the Joshening.
I wonder.
That's pretty funny. I like that.
I bet not that many people could probably really, with certainty, say they're the toughest of their name, right? First
I think
and
I
last.
can. My dad's dead, and he was the only other Ennis Crafton.
Yeah, but most likely worldwide, there's another Ennis Crafton that's younger and stronger, just based on statistics, right? Like, there's probably a 25-year-old Ennis Crafton that is an athlete. That
What's
could
the
be,
origin of your name?
I was named after a town in, I think it's Montana. My grandfather's middle name was James Ennis, and my dad was Ennis, and then I became Ennis James.
So you're named after a town with no inhabitants.
No, Jim Phillips used to talk about it. Ennis, Montana. There's like a beef jerky factory that he loves there.
You're named after a beef jerky. Hold on. And you don't have that in your act. You don't have a joke about your dad naming you after a beef jerky factory. You can't write stuff that funny.
Enos Beef Jerky Factory Crafton or whatever your name is.
Kraft beef jerky.
All right, next story, Enos.
Okay, so it's so disrespectful. All right, then I'm gonna make you guys watch this video. Did you watch the MMA event that happened this weekend?
I did.
I heard
I know
about it.
Samantha did.
I didn't pull this video because I watched it and it almost made me barf.
I saw the screenshot. Butler showed it to me, which I didn't ask him to, by
Of
the way.
course, that's a chopper move.
Yeah, he just.
Yeah,
Look at this
it'll
gross
ruin your
thing.
day.
Why do people send us that?
Like-
I was listening to Radicalizing Rednecks and Shane on there. His brother sent him, and then he just watched it. And that's what somebody sent it to me, and I just watched because I didn't know what I was watching. It's early morning.
Yeah.
And I'm just hitting play, and then all of a sudden I see the grossest thing I've ever seen.
And Butler's like, hey, did you see what happened? And then he just turned and showed me a screenshot of the guy's leg bent over at the ankle and him like trying to walk on it. And I'm like, why didn't you warn me and say, do you want to see a broken leg? I would have
Yeah.
said no, thank you.
Content warning.
It's when he steps back. That's the
Yeah,
one,
that's
and I'm
the
like,
worst.
ah!
Well, yeah, when he steps and put his weight on it. Oh,
See,
Oh, it gives me the willies.
I'm not even like a wussy when it comes to that.
I
just,
am.
if you were
I
going to
am.
give me the option, I'd rather just not see it. I know what it looks like. Like I don't have to see it. What is it going to get? Like, what am I going to get out of that? Looking at that.
I guess.
What?
Well, I think you pull back from that as you get older because you understand that the curiosity factor. You're not always guided by that. You know, I can remember when I was a younger man. If somebody said, "Oh, did you see even like 2 girls, 1 cup," anything like that, you know?
Yeah, shock jock.
Yeah,
value,
and I'd be
yeah.
like, "Yeah, I want to
Yeah.
see it just to see how I would react." I'm past that now.
Yeah, I
I've
don't-
seen some horrible things.
Don't need to see it.
I've said the one that somebody played for me at the radio station that was my end game one was the Daniel Pearl video,
Yeah.
that journalist. And once I saw
I never
that,
watched that. Thank God.
bad.
that was it for me.
Yeah.
That was the
That's
one, and
all.
I'm like, never again.
Doesn't make any sense. So what's in it for the people that watch it?
Nothing.
It's like you're only gonna be disturbed by it, right? If you get some sort of pleasure out of that, then you're way screwed up, more screwed up than.
The only way I can describe it, if I like this one, I'll describe what happened when I watched this. It was like it. You have to reset your feet. It's like if you go into your day feeling that way, it's horrible.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is. It's just like a
Disturbed.
Yeah, it drains you. It emotionally it pulls out energy.
Next story, EJ.
Okay, next story. Well, here's another sad one. Madison Bumgarner. He's the pitcher for the Arizona Rattlers, and he threw a no-hitter, but he doesn't get credit for it because it was a 7-inning game because of the COVID. They do doubleheaders that are 7 innings now,
I think that's crap.
right? He pitched the whole game.
It still counts, right? To me, it should. Well, it doesn't still count, but to me, it's still the end of the game, is it not?
Yeah, just because it's a shortened game because of COVID, and you're considering these games
Then-
they count.
Yeah,
they
then
count
should
for the
you
record,
not-
so
then-
it should count towards his record.
Yeah, if it's a win, if you're going to make it a win, then you have to make it a no hitter, right?
Yeah, but the problem is we all know it's kind of like if you were like the fastest running back in the 60s in the NFL or something like that, or like the best wide receiver in the 60s, it has to come with an asterisk, and because the reality is it's just it was different, and you can't say he pitched a no-hitter when there's 2 less innings and it be the same as a no-hitter with 9 innings. So, yes, you did pitch a no-hitter for a game, but everybody knows that's not the same as a 9-inning
you didn't do
no-hitter.
the last 6 outs, so it doesn't count, which I can understand, but your analogy is really bad. Because the receivers back in the day, you could get nailed going across the middle. Nowadays, you don't even have to worry about that. So,
Well, yes, I meant in both aspects. It's just like completely different. Like, obviously, yes, like you look back and you're like, wow, Jerry Rice accomplished this much with different rules, and so he should deserve more credit than people breaking his record now because obviously it's way easier. It works both ways. I'm just saying.
Well, you could say the argument these guys are playing during COVID is totally weird. The energy of the game is completely different. How do these guys even play?
So on the books, yes, it's like I guess statistically you went a whole game and no one hit the ball. Yes, but it has to be an asterisk to that, right?
You could just call it like a COVID no-hitter or something.
It's still an accomplishment. Yeah.
I mean, I just feel like you should give it something. But anyway, what else you got?
By the way, these guys, they don't care. Like the pitcher is probably like, good. That gives me attention.
Sure.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, either way, it's not like it steals from his skill.
No.
Yeah. Okay. The last story I have for Jock is the NFL draft. We got to talk about that. Happens on Thursday, and I know Atlanta got like the 4th pick, and Miami got the 6th.
I think
pick.
we're
They
looking
also
at
have 2 in the first round.
What I read this morning, we're looking at that. I'm blanking on his name. Gator tight end.
Pitts.
Yes.
Pitts. Yeah, he's a monster.
Yeah, I got
Kyle
excited.
Pitts,
I got
yeah.
excited.
So a lot of people are talking about this draft and saying that it's going to be one of the most exciting drafts as far as there's really a lot of question marks in this one. From what I've listened to, the first and second pick are basically shored up, even though no team ever really says anything, but they know already. And then when it comes down to what San Francisco is going to do, it's still up in the air.
Yeah.
It
That's a pretty interesting story.
Yeah. Do they take Josh Fields or they stick with Jimmy Garoppolo or whatever?
Well, there's also the other quarterback. It seems like there's 2 quarterbacks that they could pick.
What's Kyle saying?
And so there's been different reports for there's Mac Jones and Fields. I think those are the 2 that it's narrowed down to. And a lot of people think Jones is the front runner in the Kyle Shanahan system. And like some other media people that know Kyle Shanahan, one being Sims, I think it's Chris Sims, or is that his dad? Whatever the media Sims is, the
Phil?
son. No, Phil's the dad.
Phil's
Because
the
Chris
dad?
Sims is apparently real high on Mac Jones and thinks that he'll go with the 49ers. Then the 3rd pick, like Atlanta. Now, people are talking about New England trading up too. And a lot of, because even draft day, people trade positions and things. After picks, like if someone takes the player that you had planned, you trade back down because you were like, all right, our next guy's down. I'll trade with this. Like there's a lot of
wheeling and dealing.
if this happens, then I'll do this. So
like Ghost of Manu Bull, who sometimes I forget is an Atlanta fan as well, I apologize, says, I really want Atlanta to trade down. 49ers set the precedent as to what a team can command this year with their trade up to 3rd, and if Atlanta can get a ton of picks to trade to the middle of the pack, then that's what they need to do. I agree.
yeah.
I agree. I would much rather I'm not sure that it would. Do you think having a tight end that would be that much of an amazing weapon would bode as well for us as like stirring up other areas where we need a lot more help?
Here's what I do know. They know better than me.
Right.
So whatever happens, I'm going to go ahead and assume that was the best thing for them based on all their knowledge of their own team and their expertise. But what's fun is speculating, but it's stupid to believe that we all know what's best for a team they know.
I don't know nothing about it.
But it is interesting what they're going to do, and it seems like I never paid attention to the draft before, maybe because I'm just more into NFL and the gambling aspect of it or whatever. But I've heard a lot more people talk about what's going to happen this year, and
it's getting exciting. And it's like double exciting because we might get like actual real football back. No, I mean we had real football. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
like
yeah.
closer to what we had.
Oh, they're open. I think they already announced they're going full.
Yeah, they did.
Full capacity. Every stadium. We're open, baby. Don't matter. Let's go.
I believe that was the actual statement.
Yeah. And so it seemingly it's going to be a regular year. And then obviously this draft, they've even gone over statistically half the quarterbacks are going to fail and not even be in the league in a couple of years, right? Like out of the top 5 quarterbacks drafted in the past, like half of them have been in the league or had success, and the other half have literally been a bust or whatever. So it's all over the place, and it's crazy that it's like that because like with the success Justin Herbert's had in for the Chargers and how like the Dolphins could have had a Herbert, and you start looking back at the Trubisky, they could have had Watson. Now I guess they're probably like, oh, I'm glad we did. But before, as far as talent goes at that time, you're like, how did you miss that?
I don't think they look back on stuff like that because I think if you do,
well, the fans do.
Well, the fans do, but the fans
and they're reminded every.
But the
game
fans enjoy that because being a fan and then working for the organization. Because you and I've done both. I've done both with Orlando City, and it's a lot more fun being a fan.
It's just weird. Yeah. It's so weird that you can't see I guess how are you going to basically predict success? But it's crazy that it's going to be that much different. It's like, oh, one guy is ridiculous, another guy literally no team wants him. How can it be a decision that close in college and then get to the NFL and go totally different directions?
Because humans.
Well, the Dolphins did that with Tua. That's the reason why they took him so early in the draft, because they were afraid of that whole Drew Brees scenario.
Yeah. And then is Tua, everybody's like, I don't think he's good. I don't think he's got it. And I'm like, don't they know? Like, oh my God, is it?
Well, have
what?
you seen it?
No. Well,
I don't think anybody has, right?
Well, everybody's just seeing what they see on the field.
And he could decide in his human brain that his heart's not in it. He don't want to do it.
No, it can't be the heart. All these players' hearts are in it.
Why
right? There's a whole life.
Why couldn't it be the heart? Why couldn't they just decide they don't want to do it anymore?
Well, Andrew Luck did, but that was a active.
I think a lot of guys get in there and the day-to-day pressure, they get to a point where I don't want to do this anymore. This isn't fun. Well, maybe, it's too much pressure.
Maybe they can't handle the pressure, and then therefore their performance is bad.
That's what I think. I think you get in there and you're like, this is too much. Too much pressure on my shoulders. I'm out of here. This sucks. This is what I'm going to do in my life and just every night be miserable.
Yeah, but that's what they were born to do, right?
No.
And
if they were, they'd do it.
They were quarterbacks since high school. This has been their dream to hit the NFL.
But I bet you there are more people that were supposedly born to do it and, are going down sort of the archetype of what you're describing that have failed than have succeeded.
True, but did they fail because they just weren't good enough, or did they fail because they gave up? I guess, it's all, dependent on the person.
Man, it's probably 50-50 because giving up, I see a lot of people giving up.
All right, EJ, What else you got?
Let's go over to nerd stuff. It's starting to get warm outside and the water's looking good. I saw you do that little thing off the rope swing into the river and break your foot or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah. He still got it.
How you doing? How's your foot?
It's fine. He got a Band-Aid on it. It's fine.
You know what
is weird? One of his toes is black.
What's that from?
It appears as if he has been wearing snowboard boots that are too big.
Oh, I didn't know that could happen.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the diabetes or something like that?
No, it's just his foot slapping around in there. This guy doesn't know what he's doing.
All right, the reason
he didn't
I
work
bring
at
this
a
up is,
chateau.
have you guys seen the world's longest water slide? That's in Penang, Malaysia.
I have a video of it.
It's over a kilometer long. It's almost a mile long.
All right, you want to?
It takes 3 minutes to ride.
All right,
it goes downhill, and there's some fast spots and there's some slow spots. But it's a kilometer long. It's huge.
And you sit on a tube.
And you sit on a tube.
So,
would you be okay with sitting on a tube for 3 minutes going down the slope?
Yeah.
What is that hard to do? What, can you not do that, little baby? Are your hemorrhoids hurting?
Would you be okay sitting on a big tube for 3 minutes? What?
Yes, I would.
That's the dumbest question I've ever heard.
My name's not Josh. I'm not a P word.
So this is basically the same thing they do with alpine coasters in like the ski mountains. They basically, you build it on the mountain, which is way easier as far as materials go, because all you have to do is curve it around the natural decline of the mountain.
Sure,
so but to pump water up there and then have all the sections be seamless and all that stuff,
Definitely expensive, I would imagine.
Yeah, but this is cool. Where is it at again?
Malaysia.
It's Penang, Malaysia.
Also easier to do in Malaysia.
No
because,
rules.
Well,
Yeah, no rules.
Yeah.
You can send as many people down as you want. You wouldn't have to worry about lawsuits or anything, probably.
Also, for sure, they destroyed a lot of rainforest. You know what I'm saying? They built
the whole
this
thing's built on koala bones.
Yeah, they built this through some animal habitats they just kicked out of the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You just use the carcasses to prop up some of the tunnel.
Like here, you have to get permits to move gopher tortoises and
This
all
is
these.
still going, by the way. This is long as hell.
Yeah,
It's long as hell, yeah. And the thing is, you have to take a gondola ride to get to the top
That's
at
neat.
the beginning.
I like that. I'm surprised Disney hasn't, or Universal doesn't have one of these world largest mega slides. That would be really neat.
Well, let me ask you guys this question. So just like we joke around about, there is only a maximum amount of time you can enjoy riding jet skis. And
that's good, Tom. This is perfect for
And
that.
we've set that time for 10 minutes.
This is still going, by the way.
And you could ride jet ski for 10 minutes, and above that is diminishing returns. You've had the maximum amount of fun you could possibly have in the first 10 minutes. So
You can only spray so many couples on the side of the river.
well, what I'm saying is the slide, I feel like about after a minute and a half on a slide, it becomes diminishing returns
Yeah,
after
like-
that, and then it's just boring.
Like right now, we're at 2 minutes 32 seconds, and I would already be looking for my vape pen on this thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'd be like, I'm bored. I'm so bored.
Yeah, but it's like you're slowly rocking back and forth.
Sam
down
isn't young
Through
like
the trees.
us. Sam isn't young like us and likes TikTok. She had a birthday. She wants to sit in an old rubber thing, go
Yeah.
down for 5. We
Lazy
young
river.
people, I can only watch this
Yeah.
for 25 seconds before I need something. I need a new explosion in my eye.
Or you need like a higher or a more aggressive bank turn. It seems like it's the same angle banks, and then it just goes straight for a little bit. It turns, wobble,
Now,
turns.
if you had people on the side shooting me with water guns and I could shoot back, that'd be pretty cool.
Or like, I know you're going through the trees, but you're kind of sitting in a bad position to see anything. You're just looking
Yeah.
from the floor
You're too
up
high.
at
Just yellow and blue the whole time.
You're too high.
yeah.
At least throw some monkeys out there.
trees. Something
Put a cage, though. I don't want them touching me.
Like there was a
Oh,
tunnel.
tunnel.
A tunnel is
Hold on,
interesting.
I go to the tunnel. We're in the tunnel now.
Yeah, okay, that's
Oh,
something
this is
new.
the end. This is the end. You go down to the pee-pee tunnel.
Oh, okay. Well, no, we're
No, it's
back
not the
out.
end. You still there's some more.
There's still some
Yeah.
more. Wow, we're coming out.
Yes.
You're slow as hell. This is boring.
Yeah, this thing sucks.
Yeah.
I'm with you on
I
this.
love how at the beginning you're like, wow, this is taking forever, and then you're like, oh, this is horrible.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'm
Too
with you.
I
long.
love it.
I think I'm with you now. This is too long. I'm TikTok Dan now. I need 15 seconds of fun. I need to go really fast for 15 seconds.
Yeah.
I think when this is all over, you should buy a ticket to Malaysia for Sam and her husband, and she can go on this ride for her birthday.
Oh, when you come out, you just come out into a little, like, it looks like you come
It's
out
just
into
a little trough at the
you
bottom.
come into
It's
like a
tiny.
pig trough. Hold on, I'm going to show you. You come out into like a pig trough. This is terrible. Here they are, and then they're like, oh, watch out, there's a horse drinking. Oh, man, that's...
They had to
Stupid.
build this entire thing manually.
Oh, God, they've been
Oh, like
working...
by
Oh,
hand?
my
Yeah,
God.
because they weren't allowed
Yeah,
to
they
bring
had
in
to
heavy
carry these
machinery
up,
in the
yeah.
rainforest.
Oh, Jesus. They've been working on this since Frasier was on TV.
It says they ensured
Yeah.
that no trees were cut down during the creation
Bull-
of the water slide.
No way.
Yeah.
I'll bet my daughter
I'm
on
looking
it.
at the
No
pictures
way.
and it's
Yeah.
like just
No.
people with ropes and ladders.
No,
Yeah,
no,
there had
that's
to
what
been
you
one
saw.
tree. Yeah, for sure. No, they're not like we can't. We're gonna do it over. There's
Yeah,
one
yeah.
tree in a way.
Who killed the tree? Hold on, this tree looks very sick. Who smushed this tree? Bring him over here. Kill him.
Yeah.
They don't do
The
that.
Lorax shows up.
This is fake.
All right, EJ. Next story.
Okay, next story. Remember the show Floor is Lava? How it was a big thing during the COVID, and it came out in like June of 2020.
Oh, I forgot
Yeah,
about
they-
that.
That show was stupid.
What killed it was
They
that one.
renewed it for season 2.
What killed that show, though, and I think its popularity is when that person perished on Wipeout.
Someone died in Wipeout?
Yeah.
Someone died on Wipeout. I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
So I feel like all those shows got a pause button because you had some.
Well, the floor is lava is way less aggressive. Wipeout, like,
on
had
Wipeout,
some,
somebody passed away, I think.
did they break their neck?
No, it was a heart attack scenario.
Oh, okay. Well, hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
No,
don't
I'm not
count
saying-
that.
No, I'm just
Yeah.
saying it's you
It
hit
happened,
the pause
yes.
button. You know,
Yeah,
everybody goes, oh.
Yeah. Yeah, because when
Now,
someone
if someone got punched in the face by one of those that wall that punches, if that killed someone, I'd be okay. You need to pause this stuff. But heart attack, no.
yeah,
The punching wall was too aggressive.
or if you like
It was.
It made me laugh.
yeah.
Oh, it made me laugh, it made me laugh. But it was one of those where you're watching somebody's sweet 52-year-old black grandma get literally Tyson jacked into the skull.
Yeah,
and
but-
I'm like, nah.
And then end up in that mud.
But well, it's not mud. But that's why America
Yeah.
does it wrong. You end up
Clear.
in clear, crystal
Pool water,
clear pool
yeah.
water, which is the
The
Japanese got it
Australian
right.
version. The Australian version has it in the mud.
Yeah.
They filmed that in like Brazil, I think, is the one they do for the Australian and the English contestants.
And they started adding mud like to some portions of Wipeout.
Now with more mud.
But the problem is then they do the clear water after, and then a
Yeah.
muddy person would doo-doo cloud up the clear water. I don't like that. I don't like that. Also, that punching wall, they increased the perception of how hard it was by sound effects, I think, because I'm
Yeah, you're
watching.
I'm
right.
sure. Yeah.
That's what they do on America's Funniest. Those videos aren't that funny. You
Yeah,
take
yeah.
away that laugh track and the
Yeah, the sound effect. Yeah. Talk about. We need to talk to the editor for America's funniest videos. Like
Why? Because we going to
That's
score
a-
some K2?
Well, that's an interesting.
Like, I don't think these people get paid a lot of money.
yeah.
Like, the
Yes, they
editor
did.
of America's Funniest Home Videos, we could probably hire ourselves.
I bet. Well, I
I
bet
know
you
a video editor that's a BDM that might have connections.
Yeah, we do.
Because I bet you there's some sort of higher, like, or person that's been there for a long time that knows, like, no, you need to do this sound effect. It's funnier for this, like,
You got to do the dog's voice pushing a rock.
yeah. All right, EJ, next story.
Okay, next story. Did you guys watch Mortal Kombat over the weekend?
Not
No.
yet.
No,
Nobody? Not yet? Okay, then I'll just probably skip over that.
Well,
But it
no,
did
I-
really well at the box office.
I have a lot of friends that saw it, and I heard it's really good.
Yeah, if you're going in and you know it's a Mortal Kombat movie, so you're not like expecting Oscar, but it's enjoyable. And it has a new like spin on the whole story. Like Kano in the movie is hilarious.
So
And I would have never thought that.
we there was a Mortal Kombat movie in the past.
Yes.
And I think
Yeah.
I remember seeing
There's
it.
been two of them in the
And-
past.
And basically they set the plot up so that there is the fight scene and them fighting the different characters is part of the plot, but it's usually
Yeah.
like
The tournament, yeah.
Yeah, a tournament of some sort of
Tournament of Champions.
Is that the same
Yeah.
With like,
premise?
I believe the premise this time is a tattoo that transfers powers to people.
Yeah, that's kind of part of it, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Without giving up too much, yes.
We'll leave it there.
Since you haven't seen it.
Is like the younger teenagers of America, do they know Mortal
Well,
Kombat?
the game came out. Yeah.
Okay.
The newer version is pretty
Yeah.
brutal.
Yeah.
Like
man.
Mortal Kombat 11, yeah.
Okay.
I haven't played it yet, but obviously I have a 5-year-old. It's not going to be the game I buy and start
Yeah,
playing.
yeah.
But I do want it, but I'll, be something I get at another time. But yeah, it's really good. Actually, I've heard it's very brutal.
Do they have Goro in
Yeah.
this one?
In the movie, yes.
Okay.
In the game, the newer games, I don't think so. They usually add like downloadable content, like they had the Predator, Alien, Jason
Now,
Voorhees,
Goro.
Leatherface,
So Goro has 3 arms on each
Four arms.
side?
4 arms and 3 fingers on each hand.
Okay, so 4 arms on each side. What's he got downstairs? And,
I think it's
There is a theory that he has 2.
that's what I was going to say. At least.
is it split like a snake or independent? That's what I need to
I think
know.
it's
Yeah,
I think
right.
it's like a womanizer.
Write that down.
It's
Oh.
top and bottom.
No, I don't
No,
know.
you're a
That would be more efficient. Okay.
You're a-
Next story,
you
EJ.
have mental
Get outta
problems.
here.
My God.
All right, you guys didn't watch Falcon and Winter Soldier yet, right?
I told Tom that I thought that would be a good for his sons, because it seems like it's relatively harmless but good old American action.
Yeah.
It-
It has a lot of backstory, though, a lot of talk about institutional racism and how the world is and how it could be and how it was. So I can't do anything without spoiling stuff since you haven't seen it. But they already kind of spoiled what's going to happen by announcing the next movie that's coming, too.
See, my sons they liked Mandalorian because there's a lot of action and
Not
not
a lot
that
of
much
talking, either. Yeah, not
but,
a lot of dialogue. A lot of good sets and
So
There's a lot of talking in this, but there's also a lot of action when it gets to the parts where there is action.
Yeah, but they're 5 and 6, and they just
Yeah.
need something easier. I turned it on for them, and then I realized that this is too slow. Like this, they need
Mandalorian
too
kind of
young.
jumps right into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The last story I have is you guys know who Russell Crowe is, of course, because he was in Gladiator and stuff like that. And yeah, he's all puffy now, right?
There's a joke about your wife in there somewhere, but I don't know what to do.
Yep. Now he's big old crow.
I've always liked
Yeah.
him. I've always liked him a little heavier. In fact, that one movie that I watched the last time,
The other guys.
The
yeah,
Nice Guys.
or the nice
Nice
guy.
Guys,
Yeah,
oh,
that's
yeah.
a good. I enjoyed that
It is a
movie
good
a
movie,
lot.
Well, he's going to be in the new Thor movie. He's supposed to be Zeus in Thor: Love and Thunder.
I can see that.
And he accidentally announced it, like he let it slip that they told his part. He's usually Marvel's pretty like tight-lipped. They don't let anyone announce what they do before the project
But
comes out.
isn't Thor kind of like the humorous franchise that everybody kind of likes the most?
It has become that because of Tiki Waititi, because he took over for Ragnarok, and it made it great. It was a hilarious movie. It's one of my favorites of Marvel. Actually, it is my favorite.
Every time I hear Ragnarok, I think of
Fraggle Rock?
Fraggle Rock.
Wait, Raggle Rock?
No, Fraggle Rock. I can't
That's
get
a better movie.
Well, I'm just like when you say Ragnarok, what is it? Ragnar?
It's Ragnarok.
Tom looks like one of the dozers.
You know what? I'm gonna make you never forget it. Thor couldn't have sex with his wife last night. You want to know why?
Why?
She was on the Ragnarok.
Oh,
There you go. There you go. He'll know it forever now.
Tom looks more like Doc from Fraggle Rock. I don't know if anybody
Yeah.
knows who that is.
I don't watch.
I thought he looks
Ragnarok.
more like one of the garbage heaps, like the trash heap lady.
He looks like the old peepaw.
Especially when
with
his
the
hair is
dog.
all frizzy, when he messes up his headphones.
So Thor is a god.
Yes, Thor is a god, but he's also an alien. And I think that what they're doing with, because he's part of the Norse mythology, and Zeus is part of the Greek and Roman mythology. So I don't know how they're going to say, oh, he's just from another planet or another realm. I don't know how they're going to.
But you guys,
push that over.
because you guys can explain everything away, and you can always move the goalpost, and there's no rules in your dumb cartoon movies. Oh yeah, oh here comes Fat Zeus. Oh, no big deal. Why is he here? Oh, it's a crossover with Scooby Doo. Oh, okay, just explain it away.
Yeah.
That's what they do, but they do that with all fiction. Like you like, I finally finished Invincible, not Incredible.
Oh,
Invincible.
God. This is
I'm
the
caught up on
worst
that.
nerd segment you've ever done. Yeah, so you're up to date on Invincible. It's good,
I'm
man.
up to date. I really like it. Yeah, especially the voice acting is amazing.
Yeah, and I was talking to our buddy Mike Aiello about it, and he was kind of cueing me in on some of the things that they changed. Like the mom in the cartoon version or animated version versus the comic book is a lot more of a likable, maybe a stronger female character, and they're kind of taking her in a cooler direction, which, who knows what they're going to do with it. But so far, I'm extremely happy with that show. Other than it's one of those shows that I know I'm a baby, but when I get done with it, it's heavy. I'm like, whoo, that was a lot of twists and
Especially
turns.
some of the episodes.
Yeah, they twist you up pretty good.
Yeah.
Do you have any
So what
nerd
else
stuff? Any more stories?
That's all I have. I'm done with all my stories.
So,
Hey, did you get me a fence sponsor yet, or are you still looking for that? Because
that's become harder than I imagined.
Yeah, about that. I'm glad you brought it up. It's excellent you brought it up.
Yeah.
I just wanted
We
to see
got
how good of
nothing.
a businessman. I thought he was. I thought he was on the ball. He's on the case.
Yeah. It
Special
turns
needs detective was going to get me a fence.
it turns out that when a king was the strongest king, and then he got there because he overthrew the prior kingdom, and he was like the general of the army.
Yeah.
And then, so he got there through power, right? That's kind of like how we got to this level of podcasting.
Yeah, we took what we wanted.
Through
Brute force.
sales power. And then,
He pillaged.
and then we got some employees.
We
and
rested on our
butler-
laurels and become fat like a sow.
And then, got a little lazy. So I started like that,
The next thing you know, you turn around and your whole army's gone.
I haven't done any sales in a couple years, like pre-pandemic, we're talking 2017.
I know.
When you could be racist. Like it would have been a different time. And so then I was like, well, I'll get it. And then I was like, that's it. I'm done. And then I put on my...
You jump back out there.
I put on my sales polo suit.
He had a briefcase.
Yeah. And I'm like, I'll sell. I'll show you, Butler.
But it was like he just got out of jail. The world had changed. When you stepped outside, he was like, you're like, where am I? Cars came by. You got scared of them.
And then I text you. Remember I text you? I was like, I'll get a fence sponsor. Butler doesn't know what the hell he's doing.
He doesn't even know what a fence is.
I just want this on the air so it's known to the rest of the public.
And then I went to fence.com. And then I was like, where's the contact me button? And no one's got contact me button anymore. It changed.
Do you want me, my wife? to
And
send
then
you
I
the
said, I got
contacts?
nothing.
I went there.
Contacts for fence.
I went there to
They got
check
nothing.
it, and they did have a contact me button. It was just not updated in a broken link.
Okay. Yeah.
Now what do we do?
Yeah. And then I went to some other fence place, and I was like, "What is this?
What is this, a fence?
and then I emailed them, nothing back, and I gave up.
Jesus Christ.
Then I got mad, and I was like, "No,
Oh,
don't ever
Samantha's
tell me
not
about
getting a
it."
present. I'm not getting a fence. Okay.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Broken Promises of Tom Van.
Okay,
So I gotta get what's 20 2021 sales, like, I don't know this market yet, you know. So I'm like,
I
just
think
going
you're
a whole
around.
new world.
You're gonna put him in with Dogecoin, and then you're gonna buy the best of
Yeah,
Dogecoin.
yeah. I tried to contact Mr. Doge.
Yeah.
That's hard to do, too. I was like, he'll advertise with us. Old Doge. He's got monies.
Or one of those non-fungible transactions or whatever.
Non-fudgeable.
The
You said non-fudgeable. everything
word
in,
for it? I
everything in
can't
your
remember
world
what
is
it's called.
fudgeable. You know NFTs?
NFTs, yeah. What is the F for?
Fudgeable.
Is it fudgeables?
Yeah, we're gonna go with fudgeable. I like that. That's better.
Yeah.
We have to get out of here anyway.
All right,
so,
all
right.
do
I
you
love
have
you guys,
anything
man.
to plug? We love you too, man. Do you have anything to plug?
No, I'm gonna start doing comedy after I get my second shot. So
Yeah.
I'll probably be back.
I heard.
That.
I saw
Oh.
Ken Miller calling you out for never making it by. So you,
Right?
you need to get out there and support Ken Miller and real.
I'm gonna
laughs.
vote for Ross Paget instead of Ken for best comedy in Orlando.
Oh,
Maybe,
he heard
EJ,
that.
maybe that's what your comedy needed, a good, solid year off. That'll help. All right, bye-bye.
All right, love you guys.
Keep
Bye.
it fudgeable.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha's here. Butler's here. We have another special guest here, my friend.
Yeah, I got a tweet or tweeted at the other day, and it
got
said,
tweeted
"Hey, would you mind retweeting me and promoting my virtual magic show?" And then I told Kosha, I was like, "Just call in the show. Not only while I retweet it, but just call in so we can talk about
not?
it." We need content.
We do.
And you're our friend, and we want to promote what you're doing. So on Zoom with us right now to talk about his virtual magic show, Kosha Kimlot. How you doing, Kosha?
Hello. I'm doing wonderful. It's so great to be connected with you all, and from the comfort of my home to yours. It's beautiful.
Yeah, man. It's good to see you.
So what has been going on since the pandemic? I believe, have we talked to you since maybe at the
No.
beginning?
No, we haven't talked in a little while. Honestly, this has been a crazy year. My wife and I had our second child.
Oh,
so
wow.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. So on the personal side, it's been amazing. I guess what happened to us was that, my business being magic, I've done so much magic for you guys and your fans over time. My business completely shut down, 100% canceled last March. And after a week of panicking and stocking the pantry and looking how much savings we had, I got a first call to do a virtual magic show. And the business slowly built, started performing for more people around the world than I ever have, doing like 7 shows a day from Japan and Australia, to LA, all time zones. And I had the best year I've ever had in business in 20 plus years.
Wow.
of doing it.
Wow.
Congrats.
That is freaking amazing, man. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Kosha, I think you've had, an amazing career, but also the ability to adapt to different situations. So I'm not surprised that you saw a way to pivot and you pivoted this way. And we've seen this in some industry where this pandemic freaked everybody out and they're like, oh no, this is going to be real bad. And then all of a sudden, through one way or the other, ended up being better for their business because it forced them to work virtually. Obviously a lot of people were horribly, you couldn't turn around restaurants and breweries and the
like a
theme
place
parks.
like Sweet Tomatoes.
Venues, but it has. People forget about where there's been a positive effect through one way or another.
Yeah, for different industries. That's the curious thing about it is that, and certainly I did not expect it for entertainment, but as soon as I started, I just saw that people starting in March, when people were connected virtually, and the way the magic show is it's all about the people. It's not a one-way interaction. The show happens based on people's decisions and interactions. So when people could be seen and heard and acknowledged and called on by name, it was like, being Mr. Rogers and coming into everyone's living room, but being able to talk to them individually. People were relieved. They were like, this is the best thing in quarantine ever. So I knew that my purpose had to change. It wasn't just entertaining anymore. It was about creating people and creating a community. And so every organization that brought me in, it was about connecting all their employees or their clients together. And the feeling was just amazing. And it was the best part of the last year for me, is like feeling people's energy. Because what I do is at the end of every trick, I hit unmute all. I force the gallery view using software so everyone sees themselves and hears themselves applauding. So at the end of every trick, you feel like you're in a theater and you're connected. And I've got 4 different cameras set up in my studio.
That's
so
awesome.
I can do close-up magic. I've got overhead shots so you can see everyone's got a front row seat to see the magic.
Oh,
It's
that's
really
awesome.
surprisingly sweet.
Yeah, we're still waiting on the 4 cameras we ordered right before lockdown. And when they get here, we hope to have a video component to this show as well.
So you guys looking good now.
No, it's funny because we never thought we'd do that. Did you ever think that you would be running magic on cameras all the time?
Never. Yeah. I mean, certainly I always made fun of the magicians that just did magic on the internet.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, you're just doing stuff for the camera. You can't perform a real show. And I took that back. I was like, okay, this is just a different medium.
Yeah,
I get
me too.
it.
I like TV more.
Well, what's interesting, Kosha, is that and you will say this. There's a difference between doing magic, filming it, editing it, and then releasing it, and doing it live on like a Zoom or live for a live audience. I mean, because with the editing power, there's then it opens it up to a lot more things you could do. So it being live and on live camera, it's pretty much probably like being in front of a live audience, right? Is there any difference between the magic you do on virtually and the magic you would do in front of a live audience?
That's exactly the point, that I have no power to edit anything. So I'm doing this live and it's going. And the difference is that it's a completely brand new show. So I started by taking the magic that I've done for decades and putting it into the virtual world. But then right away in March, I started writing a new show. It took me 3 months to write it. So this hour-long experience is completely different magic than I've ever done before. And that was also artistically interesting and engaging because I was forced to create for a new medium and find ways of interacting and engaging with people. So there's lots of fun surprises where the things that are happening in the show are happening because of the audience decisions. And like a good comedy show, it all comes back full circle. So it's anybody who's seen me live will be blown away, and I will exceed their expectations.
That's
virtually.
cool,
I can
man.
Guarantee that.
So let's plug the show real quick, and then I got some behind-the-scenes questions to ask you that may ruin everything. So,
Coach loves that. And you've had a good day so far.
So how can people get tickets to this virtual magic show?
So yeah, let me tell you why this is so special. 100% of the proceeds for this show are going to benefit Second Harvest Food Bank.
Oh, wow.
So you're getting tickets directly from them. And when you get one ticket, you're buying it for your whole household. So you can bring your family, your kids, grandparents. It's a very clean family-friendly show. So I encourage everyone to come all around together on the couch and the TV and the laptop. And one ticket, it's a $100 ticket, equals 400 meals from Second Harvest Food Bank. And the reason that I did this is because I am so grateful for the last year. Psychologically, for me, it was just a way to put an end cap on this year of going from stressing out and business all canceled to feeling relief that the world allows me to connect with them, to saying, okay, this show has put food on my table. Let's help families in Central Florida. And so it's just for me like a way to put an end on this year and to thank the universe and to give back to the community. And so I just want everyone to know that not only are you going to be entertained for over an hour, I'm going to rock your world, but you're also going to donate to an amazing cause. And to get tickets, you can just go to kmagic.com, the letter K, Magic, KMAGIC.com. That'll forward you to the page, which has a video telling you all about the show and the link to get your tickets directly from Second Harvest Food Bank. They're an amazing organization. And so by coming to the show, you will make an impact as well.
That's cool, man. How many people have you had at one time? Is there a cap?
So the show, I mean, I did one show for like 10,000 employees.
Oh my God.
So we streamed that and we did big. When I do it in Zoom, we have up to 1,000 people. Typically the shows are anywhere from 50 to 300 people. And it's beautiful because again, people are inviting all of their employees, their clients, their families, they're showing up. And people, they're ready to have some fun, but they're not expecting it to be as engaging, as personally interactive. And at the end, the magic that I've created, the chat just like blows up. People are like screaming in caps.
That's cool.
It's really awesome.
That is awesome. And congratulations, by the way, because that's awesome for you to do, that you got to a point where now you're doing this for charity.
Well, it just
to
makes
give
him
back
better,
now.
though. I think it is craft, because now you're having to do magic during like crazy times. And I think that makes regular magic sharper, if that makes sense.
So, Kosha, I want to ask you, as far as the mechanics of your tricks.
Well, he's a magician, Tom.
No, I know, but and he'll know what I'm talking about. Is like you have honed this skill in front of live audiences for a long time, and when you do it in front of a camera, I imagine that it's different for you because you've practice it so much in front of audiences, and you know, like, and there's a certain amount of distraction. There's a certain amount of where people are looking. You know which hand people are looking at, and
you're also just not having to worry about cameras.
Yeah,
Something as simple as that.
Yeah, and you can verify that by looking at people's eyes in front of you. And when you're doing it in front of a camera, did you have to modify, or how did that affect what you do?
Or at least be aware.
Was it harder? Nope, killed him with my question.
There it is.
There he is. So serious looking.
I'm sorry, Coach.
Mad at your question.
Oh my God.
The answer to your question is, I am very serious about your question.
Oh, yeah.
There he's popping back in.
Oh.
There, I'm gonna grab him.
Who's the real magician?
let me turn
you
off-
made
What do you-
Kostya disappear.
What do you think? Am I back yet?
Yeah, there you are. There you are. Sorry.
I wasn't allowed to reveal the secrets. You were just about to reveal the secrets, and they said no.
My long question broke the internet. Oh, sorry.
So you started talking about behind the scenes. Please ask that again.
Oh
the difference-
my God, no, Kostya, we can't do it again. Kostya, that'd be the worst trick of your life.
I have a longer version, actually.
Blow my brains out.
So, what Coach,
Well, you know what? Give him the unabridged.
Okay, basically, I was asking, did you have to modify your tricks because a live audience you've practiced in front of for so long, you know where people's eyes are, and then in front of a camera, I would imagine it's different because you don't know where people are looking at all times, and you just have the one camera angle. So how does that work?
So really good question. So first of all, one of the things that helped is when I first started doing it, I was doing the material I had performed live. So when I would finish a trick or I would say some kind of line, and I wouldn't have that instant, visual response of applause from my front row, but I'd see people moving. What helped me was knowing that this was successfully delivered for the last 10 years. And I could pause and let people react at home because I knew this was amazing. And I knew that they were clapping and reacting for the next 5 seconds, or the joke was funny, and I would just pause and let the humor go. As I developed the new stuff, it helped to leave a few people unmuted, so I get that instant audio feedback. But I'm really using technology to mute everybody until I'm ready for the applause. And then I hit that, so I still get that reaction. As far as the video, it was not as challenging as I thought. In fact, what I really loved about it was that everybody has a front row. Because I've got 4 different camera angles, I could switch and I could show you close-up magic when I want to. I can show you the audience shot. I could cut to the gallery view, and that all allowed me to be more effective. So I was using technology, and I spent a lot of money and time on the set to make the technology invisible so that I could focus on the human connection, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, it does. I mean, it's pretty impressive
Yeah.
that you're able to modify what you've been doing for so long.
And today the internet is not on my side.
No, did it
Oh,
happen
no,
again?
it's happening again.
Oh, no.
Oh,
God.
God. I'm going to go live. Now he's mad.
Oh,
Look,
yeah,
I'm
frozen again.
You should have just shared it on Twitter, Tom. This is
Well, what? Can I ask my question again? Okay.
Stop asking questions.
So you
I wanna
and
ask
Elon Musk are doing
Oh,
it.
no.
I want to ask him. I'm hot.
Oh, he's getting hot.
Whoa.
You know he's getting hot? Because he thinks everybody hates him now because he's too logical.
No.
All right, you're back now. We got you.
Thank you, guys. I'm so sorry. I don't know what's going on today because all my stats are fine, and I don't know what is happening.
It could be us.
Let me turn off my Wi-Fi on my phone because we only can have.
We've been running our entire studio off of Tom's.
Yeah, it's hotspot.
Don't turn that. If you turn
That's
your
your
hotspot
hotspot.
off, you're going to knock us offline.
So
I'm
Coach,
using the hotspot and the internet. I got a couple of steaks sous vide out there with my Innova, and it's on the Wi-Fi.
So again, kmagic.com. But Kostya, I want to ask you a question because we had this.
Just ask the question. Don't ask him the
Sorry.
question about the question.
We had this argument last week, and I know you will know the answer to this because I know you know this business and you know what I'm talking about. So, hypnotists, and I'm not asking because
he may not say this because he probably knows a lot of hypnotists.
Well, I know that Kostya does a lot of tricks that involve maybe implanting a message or figuring out like the psychology of a human brain and knowing where someone's going to go. Like it's part of it, and so I know he knows about this. But we were talking about like the hypnotists that do stage shows, and they bring a bunch of people on the stage, and then they like, you know, basically hypnotize the like a whole group, and then they act like they have no clothes or a chicken. That
Yeah,
the
they
whole
usually do a
stereotype.
line of people, and they do the tapping on the shoulder type deal. You've seen it before.
So
Yeah.
we narrowed it down to this. So this is what we
Let us
concluded.
tell you,
We'll tell
huh?
you and tell us if we're right
That's
or we're
not a
far
bad
off.
idea for a bit, Sam.
Yeah.
Let us tell you.
Yeah.
So
Because we all have strong opinions.
what we finally landed on is that these people have first, they know about psychology. They have their stage show planned out to the T. They know what to do, like a magician. If someone goes one way or the other, they know how to pick personalities from the audience. They know who are most likely going to participate,
yeah.
go on with it. And then they're able to basically pick a person from the audience that they know will participate based on some questions or a look or how they respond, and then they know that they will go along with the show based on the power of persuasion or manipulation or getting them to, like, they know that they'll act the way they want them to, and it's not really what we think of being hypnotized as being. As it's more of like, hey, this person's really good at manipulating a person of a certain personality trait that they can recognize. Are we close?
Yeah, you really did nail it, because there's a big difference between stage entertainment hypnosis versus like clinical hypnosis to help someone, stop smoking, something like that. So from an entertainment perspective, you nailed it. In fact, what you said about the specific personality style, I recommend a book called Suggestible You by Eric Vance. And in that book, he talks about how there's a certain percentage of the population that is associated with a personality type that has a certain gene that is turned on, and that makes them more susceptible to suggestion, which means that certain medical treatments and placebo effects will work better for that personality style because that gene is turned on for that group of people.
Really?
So you are 100% right in the way you described it. Maybe I'll build on that for you. I don't think I'm giving anything away. By the way, let me just backtrack and say that I am an honest liar, and I claim to have no powers. I am not planting seeds in people's heads. Like, that's a really great presentational aspect. Magicians love, mentalists love pretending that they can do all this stuff. It's a complete lie and BS. But it's a really great presentation because people love that. So that's one of my problems with some magicians and mentalists, because they try to get people to believe like it's pseudo-scientific, where they're like, oh yeah, I can do this and this. And I think that's irresponsible, because I don't want my audience believing in false things when I'm done with my show.
Yeah.
So Matt, that aside, from a stage hypnotist point of view, they not only look for the kind of person, but they'll start by bringing 20, 30 people up on stage to play all the games. And then they slowly narrow it down to find the person that is most willing to play along. And that person may not necessarily be pretending. They're just the type of personality that is so willing to believe this that they want it to happen. And by narrowing it down from 20 to 10 to then 5 participants, the last 2, 3 that are left are going to be the strongest ones to react. And again, this is pure entertainment. You're not going there to believe in any scientific process. I hope that anyone who's going to Hypnosis show is going there because they know it's fun, and they're going to see people who are, acting ridiculous. And there is a bit of mystery because you don't know how it's done.
Yeah, I wanted them to put me asleep so I could see my mom one last time. So I went there for purely the wrong reasons, Coach. I went there very serious, very, very serious.
So
you're like crying on stage.
I was crying on
people
stage.
Are like, where did the show
But I
go
was also
wrong?
clucking like a chicken and nude, which was weird.
So that's the, I guess, what we all as a society are not thinking about. We're thinking when it comes to hypnotism, because you're right. There's a clinical
we're thinking
version
like
of
Pocket
this.
Watch, stop smoking.
And there's and therapists will lay you down on the couch and make you meditate, and then it'll basically you could talk about past memories that were receded. So there's the science part of the psychology part that's real, and that's where it gets mixed. So when we're seeing these people on stage, we're like, are they under a trance? Why are they acting like this? And you're saying it's just because those type of people want to basically go along with the show, easily kind of coerced into
they wanted to succeed.
wanting the show to work.
And the job of a hypnotist that's an entertainer is to make it a really fun, surprising show, to let the personalities be the show. So they've got the same tricks. They've done it. Like any one of you, through a basic form of training, can become a stage hypnotist, because it is entertainment and it is techniques and processes that anybody can do. It does take some training, but it's pretty easy. I think to be a psychologist, to actually help people versus entertaining a group of people, is very different. And there's a real power of quieting the mind, stopping thinking about all the things that are happening around you, to focus inwards on what motivates you, what drives you, what bothers you. So I think there is deep work in that, but I think on a very small personal level, as opposed to getting together in a group of 20.
And Kosha, one last question. I promise to be quick. Have you seen the same power, like the skill that someone has that it claims to be a medium or like a psychic or like talk to the dead or whatever, where they have an unbelievable skill that they could read people and kind of see where they're going, or personality type, like very fast? Like that skill seems to be prevalent in those type of industry, and I've seen people do it, even to me, and it's fascinating, but it seems way like more of a reading a personality skill. And that, have you seen that for yourself?
Oh, I mean, 100%. I mean, look, anybody that loves people and pays attention to people is going to learn very quickly about it. People are going to go to a psychic or someone who purports to be a psychic medium, maybe once, twice in their life. But that person is seeing multiple people a day for weeks, for years. So that kind of practice of reading people, that's the whole secret, is just paying attention to people and giving them the information back that they give you. That's the real secret of anyone that pretends to be a psychic, is usually people don't have anyone that really listens to them deeply in life. So they need either a psychiatrist, a good friend, or a psychic.
Wow, I didn't think about that. Oh my God, just based on that, that's a huge hook, right?
You need help. But
yeah.
I mean, that's what I had an office next door to a psychic, and I had very thin walls. And for 2 years, I listened to the calls. And it was, I mean, insanely aggravating to me as a magician to hear this, because magicians are so anti-psychics.
Right.
But then what I really heard was people just needed a friend.
Yeah.
And the psychic would just talk to them and give them advice, and she would be the only one honest with them.
Yeah.
Whereas their friends wouldn't give them honest feedback. So after 2 years of listening to these calls through the wall,
like
I was like,
yeah, it's almost like the question would be, you know, you could ask the question, how good is the psychic? Or you could ask the question, well, how bad does the person need help?
Yeah.
Because that's going to determine how good your psychic is, right?
Or a therapist.
Right.
It's basically the same thing.
Right. Well, you have to be open to it. How many times have I told you guys when I go to my therapist, like the only times I have good sessions, you know, I'm very open to what you do. You have to be honest.
Person who cuts their hair, how many people open up to them about them? You know what I'm saying? Like everybody, we are human beings. We need someone to tell our garbage to.
Those poor people.
So anyway, Kosha, thanks so much at kmagic.com.
Get those tickets.
It's Thursday night. What time is it start?
So this Thursday, 7 p.m., it'll be just about over an hour show. And I promise you, I mean, again, I wanted all the people in Central Florida, anyone can come from all over the world.
Yeah.
But those of you in Central Florida, I want you to know that you're getting tickets directly from Second Harvest Food Bank. 100% of the proceeds go to them.
Awesome.
And one household tickets equals 400 meals for seniors, children, and families right here in Central Florida. So together we can do amazing good. And I hope to see you this Thursday night. kmagic.com for the tickets.
Man.
Awesome, dude. Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you, dude. We'll talk to you soon. If you ever need to promote anything, just give us a call, man.
Hit us up.
Thank you. You all are the best. And your listeners are the best, because I still to this day hear, I run into more people that tell me they heard about me for the first time on your show. And I think I've been hanging out with you guys for almost a decade now. So
we appreciate
thank
it,
you.
man. Well,
and your listeners.
Thank you, and give the family and the new babies some, now two, newest and newer. Give them some love from us, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Peace. Take care, guys.
All right, see you, man. That is Kosha Kimlat, live from, do you see he had his Penn and Teller trophy behind him where he won Fool Us, the FU trophy?
Yeah.
It's pretty neat.
I don't know why he still talks to us for
talks
10
to us
years.
either.
Most people, they're like, I don't want anything to do with
you know, I
guys.
thought for a second during that when he was like, I've been hanging out with you for 10 years. Your listeners are the best. And it's just, It always gets me excited when I know I'm going to be on the Jim Colbert show. Real radio. Like, I always wait for them to do that, and I'm just going to go along with it, just so any other show knows. Monsters, Jim Colbert, News Junkie, Old Jim Phil, anything.
I'm too awkward.
Whatever they say, I'm rolling with it.
Yeah.
I'm Doc and Johnny, Johnny's House, Jade, Super Dave.
The Hideout.
Dickerman, Theme Park Podcast.
What was that? Was that a weekend?
Odds on You, 2 sports guys, 1
a 2 sports show, 1
cup, SBK Live, Drew Garabo, Shannon Burke, all of them.
Bradshaw and Captain Boy. What was that? Anyway, bye-bye.